And we are live. Welcome everyone to Coaster Time. I am your host, Carrick Gilgan, and today we are also joined by a returning guest all the way from the UK, who is one of the best to follow for theme park news and analysis, and also a nominee for the UK Theme Park Awards Content Creator of the Year. And this is, of course, none other than Coaster Chall. Aaron, it's great to have you back on. How are you doing? And if you could also let people know where to find you, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure to be back, obviously. Shout out to everyone in the United States of America. Got a lot of respect for that country on a personal level. It's a place that I've always wanted to live in the future as well. So, a lot of respect. Yeah, it's just been, it's been probably the most challenging year from a positive and negative perspective of my life. Obviously, those who did see it, I did lose my dad at the start of the year, so it was obviously not a great start. And then losing my uncle 3 weeks later, it's not been amazing. But since that moment, I thought to myself, should I use that negative experience and turn it into, something that's going to flatten me or something that's going to fuel me? So I turned it into fuel to try and push what I wanted to do and to create my legacy in their honor. And that's reflected in the stuff that we've produced this year with the collaborations, with the opportunities, being there to witness the opening of Valgard at Polton's Park, of Victus, the tallest flat ride in this country at Pleasure Beach, to see the opening of Spinning Racer, the first attraction under a new era at Lightwater Valley after what's been a challenging few years before that. And to be there to witness other collaborations as well, working with KSI, working with the Sidemen, working with Specs Gonzalez, working with all these brilliant people, with more collaborations to come in the future. It's just been one of those years. It's been one of those where it starts off the worst and it's turning into one of the best for some ungodly reason. So it's one of those years that you just can't describe. So for those who want to find Coaster Chall, we are on YouTube, which is just Coaster Chall, or the at YouTube mention is at Coaster Chall YT, I believe. We also have our Instagram, which again is just Coaster Chall. Our TikTok, which is Coaster Chall. We do want to try and get to 10K as soon as possible on there because that'd be fantastic. We're also on our Facebook page as well. We need to get that to our first 1,000 followers because that is quite a recent page. We're also on Twitter as well, which is at Coaster Chall. Also, again, we want to try and get to our first 1,000 on there as well. So, a lot of social media pages to keep up to date with while working Monday to Friday as well. So it's definitely it's a tough job balancing content creation and work at the minute and trying to produce that as a full-time career at some point. But we are making it work so far. We've got a lot of content still to come. We're producing other content right now, and we've got a lot of projects both in park and out of park in the pipeline, waiting to be greenlit. So very, very exciting times, and it's in my dad's name.
For sure. Condolences on your family members from earlier in the year. I will just say that to start off, but I am very happy to hear and see from the last few months how much exciting projects and collaborations you've been able to do since then, kind of tying back into what you were saying, kind of building off that tough early moments in the year. So very much appreciate you going into that. As far as where you can find Coaster Chall, all the links are going to be in the description. Same as the link to vote for Aaron for UK Theme Parks Awards Content Creator of the Year. So actually, if you want to talk a little bit more about that, I'll give you the floor to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those who don't know, the UK Theme Parks is the biggest award ceremony in this country for this industry. It's a place where all of the parks, all of the companies come together and they celebrate the nominees. Just to be nominated is just absolutely incredible. But to win this award would be an absolute honor. It would be an absolute privilege. I know it's not going to be easy because all the rest of the creators in that category are incredible at what they do. I think anyone could scoop the awards. So how it works, barring the Theme Park of the Year award, which is obviously the big finale award of the ceremony, the rest of them have a bronze winner, a silver winner, and a gold winner. So it is the top three, and they get certificates, I believe. It's my first nomination, so I'm not 100% sure how it works, but that from watching previous awards, that's the pattern of how it works. So barring the last category, the Theme Park of the Year, everyone gets, each category gets a bronze winner, a silver winner, and then a gold winner. And the good thing is with the theme park categories, you obviously get a large park and a small park winner in some of the categories. So for best theme park for families or toddlers, for example, those are the ones where you get a large park winner, which are the biggest parks in the country, and the small parks, which are the lesser known parks but still important to the country. And like I said, the UK Theme Park Awards is our golden ticket awards. Basically, it's the highlight of the season for me. And again, after 8 years of work, to finally be nominated for Content Creator of the Year in this ceremony is just an absolute honor and a privilege. And I'm looking forward to getting the suit and tie on in September and to go to Pleasure Beach again. It's nice to go back more than once a year this time. And to go back and sit in a room with all these people that I'd seen their projects growing up over the years, being a fan since the age of 5 of the industry. So to be a fan for over 20 years and to now sit in a room with these people and watch the ceremony and to be there in person, waiting to see if we've won or not is, it's an absolute pleasure. And it's an honor to be a part of this ceremony in September. And the voting closes on the 28th of August, by the way.
Alrighty. And so, pretty much, as mentioned, I do have the link to the website in a description. Pretty much how you do this, I'll just kind of quickly mention. You'll go onto the site. You will have to create an account. It doesn't take very long, like 5 minutes tops, if that. And then you can vote on the UK Theme Park Awards. You can vote in as many or little categories as you want. As you can see, and as Aaron mentioned, there's a lot of categories here. So as many or little as you want. As far as the Content Creator of the Year, that is going to be the last category. So if you're going through it and wondering where that is, I believe it is the literal last category. So make sure to vote for Coaster Chall for the awards this year. And I'm excited that you're going to be able to go and check this thing out. And hopefully you'll end up winning. So
Yeah,
we'll.
it's going to be a really great experience, and I'll refer to what I said back at the start of this, talking about this award ceremony. Every single creator on that list deserves the award because they all produce incredible content. It's going to be a really, really tight contest. I mean, I'm excited to see who's going to win this year. If it's me, fantastic. Couldn't ask for a perfect end to the year. If I don't win this, then anyone else on that list deserves it anyway, because we see more creators popping up every day in this industry, and see more creators. There's been loads of discussions over months and months, like, is there too many theme park creators? I don't think you can ever have too many theme park creators, because the more people that cover it, the more people cover this passion that we all have and this all common passion that we all share. I believe the more coverage this industry gets, and the bigger the industry gets in the mainstream circuit, and from a media perspective, especially. So, I think the more creators, the better for me.
I think that's a great way to put it. So, yeah, I think that'll pretty much wrap it up as far as the awards goes. I'll go through some comments here as well. So, yes, so there were actually History and Leisure pointed to me out this to me this morning. I messed up initially when I first put the time in on YouTube. I believe it said the stream was starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, so apologies there, but it does appear that decent amount of you were able to get the notification, so that's good to see. But I apologize there. I was only able to fix that earlier this morning. And the reasoning for the timing difference is just because, like, between me and Aaron, we have an 8-hour time difference. So it
Mm.
is like, I believe the only guest I've had that has actually, I think 2 have had a bigger time difference. Riley from That's So Mid. I can't even recall, but the time difference there, because he's in Australia, was like something
Yeah,
insane. And then I think Northern Rides, he also had a significant time difference because he's based in Denmark. So yeah, no, those would be the 2 that I could think of. So, but always definitely worth doing. And we will then head into our first segment, which is going to be talking about some of the intriguing 2027 theme park projects that are coming up here. So basically, how this will work, the two of us picked out six projects that we're intrigued into seeing how they go and just how they turn out, including one sleeper pick as our last pick. So that's going to be how that's going to work. You in the chat as well can let you know what projects you're most excited for, because there are certainly going to be some that I think are left out of both of our lists. And I also want to mention on my end, this isn't necessarily like the six projects that it would be like in order of that I think are going to be the best. There's some that I left off that I think have gotten a lot more dialogue.
Mm.
Um, that I'm very intrigued in, and I think there's probably one in particular that people are probably not going to be happy about that didn't make either of our lists, maybe two. But we can certainly talk about those later on as well. So, with that being said, I will do my first project that I want to talk about, and this is one of those that has gotten a ton of dialogue as I pull it up here. This is Project Purple at Six Flags Great Adventure, which will be holding its official announcement, I believe, here on the 28th in just a few days. So we'll have the official name, a little bit more official information, but um, pretty much this ride, it's going to be the first ever mock tower coaster staying at a whopping 375 feet tall. And this is really the first true statement edition for Great Adventure following the removal of King Ka kind of into this new era, though, of course, they added Shoreline Pier earlier this year, which was significant. But this, I think, is going to be kind of the first big, like, kind of statement
Mm.
for the park entering this new era. So this is also going to be Mock's largest coaster to date. I understand that Ryan Eldridge, that I know you've had on, has mentioned that this isn't necessarily like the true King Ka replacement, as a lot of
Yeah.
people are saying it is. But I do understand that, like, in the eyes of the locals and the enthusiasts, it's kind of hard not to see it as that, just with it being the new kind of massive icon in the skyline, standing pretty close to where King Ka once stood. I understand it'll be viewed that way. But I have, for each of these, I have a few questions or points of intrigue that I'm really interested
Mm.
in with these rides. The first of which with Project Purple. My first question is, what will this ride be like? Just pretty simple. I do expect a very unique experience. And some of the elements look absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that stall with the rotating, the fact you'll be able to experience it both forwards and backwards, and how absurdly long it is. Like, I'm sure you've seen the pictures online, Aaron, but like, it is like ridiculous. It doesn't even look real. It looks like, I mean, something that was like edited or something just to make look longer. I mean, it is unreal how much track length that stall has, and the fact that you'll probably be rotating a little bit and also be getting launched, that's going to be like an unreal sensation. The drop coming off the tower as well. I didn't realize how steep it was until I started re-looking at pictures again recently. I think especially towards the back, that's going to be absolutely insane. And then the top of the tower, actually, I'll bring up the picture here as well, though I'm not sure how well it illustrates it, but the cars are going to be kind of banking outwards, so you're going to be getting this weird, like, kind of lateral hang time as you go up the tower, which is also going to be just absolutely, like, freaky and ridiculous. I think there are going to be enthusiasts who are normally not scared of, most coasters, that are going to be kind of horrified during this moment, to be completely honest. So I'm extremely excited just to see how those elements hit. And again, do expect it to be very unique. Second question, this does go back to the King Ka thing. My question is, will this be seen as like kind of uh, satisfying replacement or bridge for King Kai in the eyes of locals and enthusiasts? Again, I understand that this isn't technically the true replacement, but just because of the status of it, it is going to be seen that way.
Mm.
And there's been a lot of dialogue online I've seen, ranging from, oh, this is a disappointment, to some people saying they think this is going to be better than Kai. I've seen like all of it out there. Um, so just very curious to see how that's received overall. And then the third question is actually just related to the tower coasters overall. Will this be a success to the point that we see more interest and more mock tower coasters get built? And potentially, could it suffer issues in the opening year and beyond due to the massive scale of it just being the absolute tallest, fastest spinning coaster we've ever seen? And also being the tallest and fastest coaster Mach has built by quite a bit. We've seen the tower coaster in multiple Six Flags surveys, so that already shows there is some level of interest. So depending on how this could do, maybe we see more in the chain. Probably smaller than this, but still, because I know some of them were mentioned to be more in the 200-foot range. The capacity isn't going to be the highest due to the shuttle coaster nature, so that'll potentially be an issue this thing has to overcome. And a lot of people, I feel like, have just kind of assumed that this thing's going to be reliable, like out the gate. I would like to think so, and I ultimately think that is, it'll probably be fine. I will just say I wouldn't be surprised if at least in the first year there's some hiccups, just because this is a coaster that's probably going to be in the 100+ mile per hour range. Those tend to be pretty iffy in their first years, if not longer than that, and is a very ambitious coaster just overall. And as far as spinning coasters, the fastest one we have right now um, is let's see. Uh, so that the tallest that we have is Georgia Gold Rusher at 144 feet, actually, which I was surprised that was the tallest one. There technically is one that's like Big Air, which is in Taiwan, that's 209 feet, but spinning's been disabled on that forever. And the fastest spinning coaster currently is actually Cosmic Rewind at 60.3 miles per hour. The Fast and Furious coasters will break that record at 72 miles per hour, and technically Steel Type-In reaches 65 and has the backward spinning car, but
Mm.
this is going to be a coaster that's 375 feet tall, over 100 miles per hour. We've never seen a coaster like that with rotating cars. I'm just curious if there's potentially going to be some issues and potential tuning that takes place. Like I said, probably mostly in the first year. So I'm just very curious to see if it is like just runs like a well-oiled machine year one, or if there's like a little bit of downtime here and there, or maybe more so than maybe we'd expect with some other newer coasters. But bottom line, super excited for this coaster. I think this could be a world-class attraction because of its unique experience, and I'm intrigued to see if we will see more coasters like this, depending on its success. So this is probably the projects I will talk about the longest of the ones on here. So that's pretty much my thoughts. Aaron, you got any more thoughts on Project Purple?
Yeah, like you said, I'd had many conversations, both public and private, with Ryan about this. We are both extremely excited about this. I've got experience of doing the spinning seats on a Mac coaster with doing the Enzo experience on Icon at Pleasure Beach. And the way it is, it's uncontrolled spin, but it's also got a bit of control with it in terms of it spins extremely in certain ways and at certain points in the ride experience. And after doing that Enzo experience, it's given me a lot of ambition and a lot of hope to see more of these spinning coasters out there with the extreme nature. And this is just the perfect example. I do agree. I think from a skyline perspective, and I think from an extreme thrill perspective, in terms of speeds and height, I think it is a Kingda car replacement. But I also think, in terms of a logical perspective, this is more of a Green Lantern replacement in terms of using up the majority of the site. I think it uses up part of Green Lantern. I think it also uses the skyline part of Kingda car also. So it's a bit of a combination of the two. And me personally, I think it is the first of probably, there will be probably an extra coaster, maybe in the 2030s, that ends up pairing with Project Purple at some point, in my personal opinion. But for now, at least, this is the replacement of both of them. And capacity may be seen by some people as an issue, but I think it more than makes up for it for the fact that it delivers great adventure, a unique, thrilling selling point that's not been experienced on any other coaster in the park's history and most Six Flags parks histories. In terms of the future of the Tower Coaster, I do agree as well. We've seen it in the surveys, we've seen it in rumors and speculation. I do believe we'll see more Six Flags parks potentially looking at adding this. I think one that sticks out in my mind immediately is Six Flags Magic Mountain as a replacement for Superman Escape from Krypton. I think that is immediately something that springs out to me instantly. To be turned into maybe Superman Extreme Flight or something of that nature, like a Superman successor almost, or even a Lex Luthor. You never know. A bit like Superman and Bizarro when they had the battle at Six Flags New England, and Bizarro won in 07, and then Superman the Ride came back and beat the epic war with Bizarro back in 2016. So obviously a different ride and a different kind of story, but it's the same kind of concept where you've got Superman Escape from Krypton from 2011. They lose the war, Lex Luthor wins, and at some point, maybe in 10, 15, 20 years' time, maybe it gets rethemed to Superman and they win the war overall. And then we maybe see Lex Luthor come back in the form of a flat ride of some kind. I'd love to see a Nebulas, maybe a bit like what Abu Dhabi's bringing in with Kryptonite Collider. So I think that maybe Magic Mountain is an opportunity. I think Cedar Point's another opportunity for sure. They can end up tying the record with Project Purple if they're not careful. But in terms of Project Purple,
that Skyline would go crazy if they had that with Top Thrill 2.
Oh, absolutely. Could you imagine Top Thrill 2 and having this Tower Coaster literally eye to eye, nose to nose, eyeball to eyeball, the same height? I mean, it would just be absolutely unreal. But
just wrap it around Top Thrill 2, literally.
That actually wouldn't be a bad suggestion. If they spaced it out, if it was done practically and they could space it out without clashing into each other's cars, I think it can be done. I think if you build the tower in a safe location nearby to Top Thrill 2's top hat, there is no reason to suggest why you couldn't wrap a part of the layout. If you had to close Top Thrill 2 for a while, that's absolutely fine, and wrap it around part of Top Thrill 2 as like a demon of the raceway almost to try and snatch the crown from Top Thrill 2. But overall, like I said, with Project Purple, I think it's a very exciting project. Like I said, I've had Ryan on the channel before multiple times about this. In fact, the interview we did with Ryan about this when construction started is actually the most viewed video on the channel now at over 10,000 views, which is just unreal. And that was only a few months ago. That was only like 2-3 months ago, 4 at max, which is just unreal. But no, in terms of what I think the name will be, obviously I don't know anything for certain in terms of names. I can guarantee you of that. But my 2 picks are the ones that are known the most, and that is Phantom Spire and Gargantua and Vertical Vengeance. Me personally, if I was choosing, I would choose Phantom Spire just because I think the track color suits the theme. I think you can retheme that Golden Kingdom area into maybe a family horror area with a massive thrill coaster and some support rides the following season in 2028. Again, something like a Zamperla Nebulas, a couple of family rides to fit that family horror theme. And then you have Phantom Spire as the kind of big, bit like Indakar and Golden Kingdom, where it was the big thrill ride, and then you had some supporting, animal exhibits and other family attractions to support the major coaster. Again, that same concept, but to have a couple of support family filler rides or family thrill filler rides, and maybe even a little show or a meet and greet with some family characters. I would like to see them bring that in. I've just seen the comment Great Adventures got.
They got one for Shoreline Pier.
I just forgot about that. So you could see maybe a couple of family rides, or maybe in the future, if there was space in that area, if they wanted to put a new ride into Shoreline Pier and then move that Nebulas, you don't have to take it out. You could retheme it and put it somewhere else in the park, i.e. this particular section in the future. But yeah, I'd say similar concept to Golden Kingdom. I think a couple of filler rides to support Project Purple, but no, overall one of the projects of the year. I get the criticisms, I get why they may be worried, but I think for the general public, I think this is going to be an absolute colossus of a project, and I'm so looking forward to the announcement on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be absolutely exciting. Good shout out as far as this being more of a Green Lantern replacement as far as the plot goes. So I like that. Also, so I need someone now to make a No Limits recreation of like the tower coaster surrounding Top Thrill 2. That is just the idea that is actually hilarious.
I need No Limits No Limits 2 creators watching this stream right now. The criteria is simple. The tower needs to be nearby to Top Thrill 2, and part of the track needs to wrap around or through the top hat. And the theme is about the demon taking over the raceway, and that is the dark part of the race plaza. That's the criteria.
That would be a lot of fun. But yeah, no, overall, very exciting project. I think one that could have pretty significant implications, both for the park and the and other parks overall, and mock rides. So very excited to see how it goes. But what is your first project that you want to talk about?
So this one is a very interesting one. It's a project that I have a lot of love for, and it's a project that I think is one of Europe's best coasters next year. Um, it's going to be supersonic. It's going to be supersonic at Nigloland, the Mac Striker coaster, the launched shuttle striker coaster. This has been a couple of years in the making. This coaster, there it is in all its glory. Another Mack ride's beauty. After the success of Voltron at Europa Park, which was a brilliant addition, I can't wait to try it myself in the future. This is a brilliant project. I think it's a very unique coaster for Europe. I think it's a great addition for the park. I think it's a perfect addition for the thrill market and the thrill audience. I think the theme and the name and the story they've gone with this is just second to absolutely none. Nigloland for me has been a very underrated park in Europe. It's definitely one of Europe's most underrated parks. It's one of France's most popular parks outside of Disney and Park Asterix. So I knew it was destined for a big project, or an even bigger project than previous editions in the past, like Krampus Expedition, Alpina Blitz. And that's a Mac project as well. So Nigloland and Mac Rides have got a really good relationship already. And this is just taking it that extra step. I think that it's a great project. And for me, I think it's a coaster that will definitely surprise a few. I think it's one of those projects that is very underrated when it comes to new attractions. You see with the elements on here, with the forwards and backwards sections, it's going to have multiple launchers, the big vertical loop. It's got launch sections on the loop there at either side, so it's going to produce those multiple launchers. The turntable addition at the start is a very good addition because it allows multiple capacity. And again, compared to Voltron, where it's not full circuit, this one is very much a non-full circuit layout, and it's a non-full circuit layout that definitely fits within the site of where this will be located. And yeah, this is just going to be an incredible project. We've seen the train for it already. We saw that reveal at the press conference at Max Factory months ago, and this just looks another level. Like I said, the theme in the detail and the storyline is just taking it another level. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm going to try and make it out for the opening for this one, because I wanted to go abroad for ages, and fingers crossed I finally get the chance to, hopefully next year. So I think in terms of abroad parks next year, Nigloland is on my list, and just for this reason.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is quite the exciting project for them. I hope you are able to get out there for their preview, so that would be a lot of fun. But Supersonic. So just some kind of notes I had. I think this should pair well with Alpina Blitz, forming like the nice 1-2 punch. This is going to be the first coaster in the park that is going to be inverting, so it's nice that they have that filled out. Or I guess not first, but it's the only one right now. In case, if they've had one in the past.
Yeah, they had a Pimfari, I believe it was a Pimfari
Okay.
inverted coaster, or some kind of Pimfari coaster that did have an inversion that closed back in 2006. So it is the first coaster to have an inversion in the park in 20 years, which is still a fantastic record.
Yeah, no, that's great. But yeah, because I was looking at the rest of their lineup. A lot of their lineup is more kind of family thrill outside of
Mhm.
Alpina Blitz. So I think it's also cool that they're getting that second more kind of major thrilling coaster. That maybe still is not necessarily too much. Although I will say, as far as elements go, I do love backwards airtime. Definitely looking at the recreations of this, you can definitely see there's going to be some good moments of that. And that supersonic spin, Looks quite disorienting. That's another element that I think is going to be really cool going both forwards and backwards because of how different it's going to feel. Um, Not sure which way it'll be necessarily preferred, but that looks like a very disorienting element, just going straight from one inversion to another, and both of which being quite different. So that definitely was an element that stood out as like, oh yeah, that's not just one that they gave it like a fun little name, and it's like nothing. It's like no, that looks like a very like seriously cool element. So
Mm.
um, absolutely love that. So it should be a good one, and I'll move on to and civilian satellite does actually refer to the Pinfari coaster you were talking about.
Yeah.
Glad that Negro Land gets a looping coaster for the first time in a long time. Absolutely. So
It's the funny thing is because people didn't know about the Pinfari coaster. So for those who didn't know, it was known as the Bat Coaster. So it's literally called Bat Coaster. Very much a B-Tech Batman logo, from what I saw from the
yeah,
construction thing. It was only open for 4 years. It was one of the Pinfari Express coasters, and there was only four. In fact, no, it was three at one point. We had one in the UK as well, known as Tsunami, M&D's in
yeah.
Scotland. That had an unfortunate incident that stayed SBNO for a year and then got dismantled. But there was still a few. There was one in Georgia, the country of Georgia. That's been SBNO. The Bat Coaster was in fact relocated to another park and called the same name, and that was a park in France that's still
Yep.
open now, and that closed forever in 2008. So, as far as I'm aware, there's no permanent Pinfari Express coasters left.
I'm on RCDB, and it does say there is one that is currently operating at Star City in Manila in the Philippines. So
Oh
that one
wow.
apparently is operating. So it's been
Mm.
there since 2007. It was actually SBNO for from 2019 to 2022, so that's kind of interesting. But allegedly that one's still going, so that appears to be the only one.
Mm.
Um, but there you have it. So, oh, and civilian satellite, there you go, has written the one in the Philippines. There you go. It's really fun, but yeah, this will be infinitely better.
For sure, for sure. But yeah,
Yeah,
make sure anyone who's watching,
shout
make sure
out.
you go and check out the construction picture of the Bat Coaster at Niglo Land because it generally looks like the Batman logo
No, it
in an
does.
80s triangle format.
It actually is hilarious. Yeah, just
It's
go to
like something you'd find on an
RCDB.
Adam West program.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, you can go to RCDB and it's literally the first picture, so that's hilarious. Um, Oh, geez. It was SVNO because the park was mostly destroyed by a fire. Well, I'm happy they were able to
Mm,
return from that. Yeah, yikes. I did not know about that.
wow.
But happy they were able to come back from that. Um, we'll move on to my next coaster as I look. Or actually, well, this is theme park project, so not necessarily coasters, and that's actually going to be the case with this next project I'm talking about because it actually does not involve a coaster at all. And that's going to be Tropical Americas at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So this obviously was announced a little while ago. So
Mm,
as far as like all these projects we're talking about, although you could say the same with Project Purple, but it's been unless you've been keeping close tabs a little bit since people have last focused on this a lot, I'll say. But this is going to be a new major themed area that is themed to Latin America overall, in a kind of similar style to their Africa and Asian areas, where you are set in a fictional village. That is going to be replacing the former Dino Land USA. Having visited Animal Kingdom when Dino Land USA was still partially existing, some of the stuff they had already removed, but I think this will be a major improvement. I just did not think that area overall looked that great. Although Dinosaur, I did love that ride, but as far as
mm.
the area overall, especially the like kind of carnival section, I really thought that did kind of stuck out as like a sore thumb. Um, in relation to the rest of the park that is absolutely beautiful. So I think this will definitely fit in better. I'm excited certainly about the top ride that's going to be there. They're going to have three of them. The first of which being Indiana Jones, which will be the same ride system as Dinosaur and the other Indiana Jones rides. But they have said this will be very unique compared to the other Indiana Jones attractions around the world at Tokyo, Disney Sea, and Disneyland, California. And it has to be because the building is actually notably different than those. So I'm not expecting this to be like just almost the same thing as those two. So that's very exciting. As someone who has Indiana Jones, it's my number one overall dark ride at Disneyland California. So I'm very curious to see how they can, what they can do with that concept many years later. That is probably honestly one of my most anticipated rides overall for next year. So that's going to be exciting. It'll also take place in a Mayan temple, so tying in with the land and the overall theme. Next, we have the Encanto attraction. We still don't know for sure what exactly the ride system is going to be. It's been rumored it's supposed to be like kind of an Omni Mover style, when people initially thought it was more a trackless ride. Still yet to be confirmed, but you're going to be exploring the house of the magical family on the night that Antonio here receives his gift of communicating with the animals, if you've seen Encanto. So that's going to be that ride. That looks pretty neat, and I'm actually excited to see how they do that because that house was really cool in that movie. So
Mm.
that'll be pretty sick. And then you'll finish it off with the Esperanza character carousel, which is going to be a carousel which has wood carved animals from various Disney films. And there will be some to be determined entertainment food as well. It actually is unknown if they're going to have live animal exhibits and trails. I really hope they do,
Mm.
even if it's not anything crazy extravagant, because I mean that's just most. I mean, that's just another thing for people to do that isn't necessarily rides. So I really hope they have some, but they haven't officially confirmed it yet. Um, so we'll note that. Some questions I have here. How significant and popular will this new area be? Animal Kingdom is actually the least attended Disney World park as of the 2024 numbers, and it actually is also behind the two Florida Universal parks, excluding Epic Universe because that wasn't open yet in attendance. A lot of people have complained about their lack of rides. They currently actually only have six. They'll have nine when Tropical Americas opens. And the loss of Dinosaur was a significant loss because they did lose an e-ticket there. So
Mm.
now they're getting at least one back. Um, and the addition of three new rides in this area, believe it or not, is the same amount as the park has received since 2006.
Wow.
Um, which the three rides they've received since 2006 are Expedition Everest, Flight of Passage, and Navi River Journey. So kind of crazy to think about. Granted, they also did lose three rides with Dino Land, but one of them was, or I guess two if you want to count the two sides of the spinning coaster,
Mm.
and Triceratops spin as well, but along with Dinosaur. But yeah, I'm just like, how significant popular will this new area be? Along with that, Pandora has been ridiculously popular at its park. The rides, or Flight of Passage has had one of the longest waits in the entire world on average. So I'm curious how much this can potentially aid with that, or not. We'll see. Um, and then Indiana Jones as well. I think I kind of went over it. So basically, how will it compare to the California and Tokyo variants, along with Dinosaur? Just kind of how does it compare there? Is something I'm also very interested in seeing, but I kind of went over that earlier. So that's pretty much my thoughts on Tropical Americas. I'll look through the comments, but first, if Aaron, you have anything else you want to uh, go over, you can go ahead.
Yeah, when I first heard about this project, again, I think it fits very, very well inside the park. I think that Animal Kingdom needed an area like this. I'm with you. I'm hoping they have some small, maybe wildlife exhibits or little demonstrations or displays with wildlife animals just to encompass the tropical America theme, the South American style that I think encompasses the area. Again, I'm with you. I think the Indiana Jones Adventure replacing the main dinosaur attraction, I think, is going to be a brilliant e-ticket addition for Disney's Animal Kingdom. I think that the Encanto ride, again, I'm with you. I think an Omnimover style. When I saw the concept art for the Encanto Dart ride, I was thinking because the guests on the concept art vehicle was still going off the picture, as you can see. So it wasn't like, oh, the vehicles are fully in the right in that particular scene. No, it's actually still coming out of the screen. So again, it raises questions about the ride system. Is it an Omnimover Dart ride? Is it something like a Yoshi's Adventure Epic Universe style system where it's a continuous, slow moving, tracked Omnimover monorail style attraction, a bit like Yoshi's Adventure, where obviously that one's a bit more outdoor when you're going over Super Nintendo World at Epic Universe and you're getting all these great views of the area on the outside. Is this a more 100% indoor version of that, or is this a traditional Omnimover Dart ride? But no, I think they're going to do a really good job with this. Again, with the carousel, I think that's one thing I have to give Disney tremendous credit for above everything else that I give them credit for, especially at the moment with their projects for the future, is that they are taking traditional rides like carousels, teacups, flat spinning family rides, classic rides, and they're bringing that Disney touch to them. We saw that at Disneyland Paris with the World of Frozen and with the Rapunzel Tangled Spin. That was a classic style of ride, but they've given it that Disney touch and it makes it so much more unique to any other ride of that kind. This carousel, you can see in the concept art for those who are watching as well, the location where it sits in with the trees, the lighting. It's a very Encanto style party. You're riding this carousel. The magic of the house is transporting to this carousel. It's bringing you through the story. And I think it's a wonderful attraction. It's a great attachment to the Encanto style buildings next door as well. Obviously, if people can see next door on the left hand side, you've got the Encanto style building there as well in terms of the materials. It's similar to the movie again. And I think that it creates this wonderful feel with the carousel. It doesn't feel like a carousel plonked into a tropical America's area. This is part of the story. It's not just there for no reason. Obviously, with Indiana Jones, there is just one other main kind of Indiana Jones attraction in Europe, and that is, of course, Temple of Peril at Disneyland Paris. So that's the only kind of Indiana Jones experience that I've seen. That's more of a thrilling roller coaster. This is more of a dart ride. And I think this is going to be a wonderful addition to the park. I think Animal Kingdom needed this. Obviously, it's sad losing a big ride like Dinosaur. I think that from what I saw from clips and pictures, I think that was a classic dart ride for Disney. I think that it will be missed, obviously, but time. You know what? This is what I mean by any closure of anything theme park related. We remember them, but time passes and new eras come about, and we have to not be acceptable to change, but be open to change. And yes, Dinosaur was a great attraction for years. Nobody can doubt that. But now it's a new era. Now it's time to move forward. And I think that most parks now are moving into a more themed story direction. And I think Disney is really bringing the full force out of that. With D23 Expo coming up as well, I don't think it'll be too long before we hear some more details about this. I think that'll be one of the key bits of information we get out of D23 this year. I think that will be potentially ride names in terms of ones that haven't been confirmed yet. Any more extras in the area that may not have been announced with the initial announcement, and maybe even an opening date if we're going to push for an opening date as well, or even just an opening month. I think even an opening month, some form of announcement at D23 this year. But no, this is definitely one of the most exciting projects I've seen from Disney in quite a little bit of time, especially with this park. One of the most exciting projects in quite a lot of years at Animal Kingdom. But yeah, this is going to be a very, very underrated investment for Disney. I think with all the big projects they've done over decades in the past, this one's going to be right up there. I don't think people may realize that until years later.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be just an absolutely awesome addition for Animal Kingdom, a park that I think really needed something like this, especially to utilize that Dino Land space that, like I said earlier, in my opinion, just was kind of like a bit of an eyesore in a lot of ways. Though, as you were saying, with the loss of Dinosaur, obviously that's going to be a classic. That actually was my favorite ride at Animal Kingdom, might be a hot take. But I am confident in the replacement with Indiana Jones. Uh,
Mm. The comment
going
section said it. I'd love to see some capybaras. I think that would be a missed
Yeah, no,
opportunity.
the 100% they need to add those. That would be kind of insane if they don't. I'd be pretty floored if we didn't get capybaras.
Even if you added them later, though, even if they added them in 2028 or 2029, I think as long as we get them eventually, that'll be okay.
Yeah, and I did look into it a little bit. They actually do have some animals that do live in Central and South America. They already have at the park, so potentially could you just make new
Relocation,
enclosures
maybe.
yeah, move those over. Uh, Probably late in the process because I understand like just with construction, you wouldn't want to move them like while that's mostly going on.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a last minute. That's part of the
yeah.
finishing touch of the area. Like when you're about to open it, give it a few weeks, couple of months before you open it. You get the animals relocated into their new home, give them time to adjust, do what needs to be done to keep them happy, and then you are ready to open that area for sure. If you're going to do it that late.
Yeah, exactly. So, hopefully we'll see something in capybaras. Great call out there. Thank you, Michael, for the $20. Very much appreciate it. So, shout out there. And then the potential for the Encanto ride is huge for Disney Magic. Yeah, I mean, the just the concept of being able to tour that house if you've seen the movie, I really hope they do well with that.
Mm.
The potential of it being kind of an Omni Mover ride does give me a smidge of pause, admittedly, but I'm still hopeful that it will be a quality ride. I mean, there's that is definitely like this is like something that is built for like Disney to really like get the most out of this type of
Mm.
experience and idea. So I
That concept
really
art
hope.
alone, to be fair, with the concept art alone, to be fair, when you're kind of looking overhead with the family and they're all celebrating, that's going to be a really colourful part of the experience. And again, it is a family ride. We all know it's going to be a family ride, but this is very much your, big celebration either at the start of the ride or at the end of the ride. If this is the story of the film in ride form, if that's what's going to be the case here, rather than a spin-off of the story of the film into a ride only story as a spin-off. If this is the story of the film, this is maybe the family at the end, a bit of a celebration. Then Bruno comes in. If we're following the story of the film, for example, so you can see, is the train goes underneath the hillside, and I love the fact if the concept art's anywhere near what it's going to look like in real life, we've got excellent potential with this from a theming perspective because you build the grassland over that hillside as the car goes underneath into the tunnel over that hill bit of theming with the animatronics, with the pointing, and I'm sure it's going to be like Frozen Ever After style animatronics from Disneyland Paris with that kind of technology that we seem to be seeing pop up everywhere at the minute. Um, yeah, the level of detail with this is just going to be second to absolutely none. And I think as you're going under that tunnel and you're seeing that animatronic come at you. Again, it's from a guest perspective, Disney are thinking hard with this one because you're not just looking left and right with this attraction, you are looking above you, you're seeing the bright lights, you're seeing the colours above you, you're seeing the animatronics above you as you pass under that tunnel. And it's giving you multi-angle perspective. And I think from a guest perspective with the dark ride, more than just left and right, I think a multi-angle perspective creates an even more immersive experience. And I think Disney's doing a terrific job with that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think the concept art that is the thing that like just looking at it is like okay, this looks like it's gonna be something truly incredible. So I'm gonna hang on to that until we see reason otherwise. So I'm still certainly quite excited for this one. And then we did get some comments on Indiana Jones. Is Indiana Jones going to be as good as the other ones? You wouldn't get your hopes up when Disney crams a new theme into an existing dark ride. They usually just end up adding a bunch of screens. There is a smidge, a part of me that would be a little concerned that they would do that. I'm still like it's not that high of a chance. I would still be pretty confident that it is. Maybe it isn't going to be as good as the other ones because, like I said, the one in California is literally my favorite dark ride of all time. I'm pretty sure the one in Tokyo because it's mostly the same, just with a few things updated and enhanced. Might even be just basically a little above that. So just so long as it's in like the same general ballpark, I think I'll be happy because that is like one of the elite rides for me, and
Mm.
that'll be like a fan favorite at the park. So I will at least hope that it is in the same ballpark. I would be disappointed though if we did get a situation where this ride ended up being too reliant on screens. But I'm hopeful that will not happen. I really think Disney would hopefully know that they can't really do that here with
I
Indiana
would be fairly
Jones.
confident. I'd be fairly
Yeah,
confident there won't be a lot of screens. There may be one or two, but I would say it's more on animatronics. I'd say it's more on theming. I'd say it's more on detail rather than. I mean, like I said, modern Disney does love projection
yeah.
effects. I
There
think
there are going to
projections
be a
are a
ton
big
of
part of
that.
that. I think there'll be a few added projections in there to kind of enhance the immersiveness of the experience, but I think it will be mainly animatronic based, a bit like a classic Disney dark ride, but with that new modern technology. So I wouldn't worry about the screens thing. I think it won't be overloaded with screens. I think there may be one or two new ones or a few extra ones, but I don't think it'll be overloaded. I think the main details
Yeah,
will come from the animatronics and the theming itself, especially with the concept art as well. I think that's going to be a very much a stunt show based type of animatronic in this particular ride.
yeah. No, I think they'll do a good job. And I yes, I the Splash Mountain, that project, there was just some stuff there that it seemed a little rushed. I haven't ridden the new version of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, so I'll reserve true judgment on that ride until I ride it. But yes, I know obviously that is one that if you are talking about screens and whatnot, that there has been a decent bit of complaints there, and they also the number of animatronics they have compared to when it was Splash Mountain is certainly a lot less. Even if the animatronics themselves, when working, are absolutely like fantastic, like insanely elite. But I understand that yeah, there is potentially some concern there. So we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe it does end up on the kind of worst end of outcomes, but I'm gonna choose to believe it'll be an excellent variant of Indiana Jones. So I'll choose to be positive there. Also mentions the Tokyo one. Didn't like it as much. Music is way quieter, and the ride motion isn't as wild. Okay, that would actually be something that factors. Okay, for me personally, Dinosaurs ride motion is also like crazy, so I will mention
Mm.
that. So I'm kind of curious. Um, I don't. Although it probably also added because that ride was like super dark. I don't think the new Indiana Jones ride is gonna be like that. So, but like it is just there. There's a lot of areas where you just you couldn't see a whole lot in dinosaurs, so that probably added to it. Um, Actually, the only thing I wanted to add before we head out, I don't know how I didn't mention it, but with this area, just as far as the theming goes, the architecture that Disney does at Animal Kingdom is absolutely excellent. I
Mm.
expect that to be no exception here with the Latin American style and
Yeah.
influenced architecture here. So just from like the concept art and little bits that I've seen. Otherwise, I think they're in very good hands there. So I think the atmosphere is going to be absolutely incredible. There is one, hopefully, the landscaping as well. As you can see here, one of the best landscape parks in the world, and I think this will hopefully fill right in with that. So, yeah, so that should be pretty exciting. That is another long one on my end because it's an entire area. Um, but, Aaron, what's your next one?
Well, we're going to stick with the topic of themed areas because this one for me is going to be a really exciting project here in the UK. It is Minecraft World at Chessington World of Adventures Resorts. This is very Nintendo World at Epic Universe. It feels very immersive. It feels very locked in. So, for those who don't know a bit about what's happening, back in 2000, we had the removal of Circus World at Chessington and the introduction of what was Beano Land, which was a themed area based on Dennis the Menace and the whole comic. So, we had a few refurbished attractions, and then a year later, we had the addition of this indoor play area called Dennis's Madhouse. So, between 2000 and 2009, we had Beano Land. It was a very fun area. You had a wave swinger known as Billy's Whizzer. You had the bus style ride as well. And you had this really good fun feel about it, a very 2000s area for sure. But towards the end of 2009, of course, Beano Land was no more. They closed off the area, and in 2010 we got Wild Asia. Now that was a full refurbishment. Again, we saw refurbishments to certain rides. We saw the addition of a Dodgems known as Tuk Tuk Turmoil. And we also saw the main addition of the area, which was the Zamperla Disco, known as Cobra. Now that looks a brilliant flat ride. The first disco I've ever done was Edge at Polton's Park, and that was this year. Now I've done that kind of ride. In fact, no, scratch that. My apologies. I'll keep forgetting about the other ones. I've done Navigator at Flamingo Land, and I've also done Avatar at Pleasure Beach. But that Edge was the first one that I'd done with the big airtime hill. Cobra is one of those with the airtime hill. It's one of the mega disco coasters. So, but I don't call it a coaster. But it is, Wild Asia was such an immersive area, but it was getting to tire. So Chessington launched a long-term development plan. Involved in that was this year's new area, World of Paw Patrol, and this, which is Minecraft World, opening in 2027. Now, there is 3 attractions in this area, or at least 3 attractions. We still don't know the future of the Wave Swinger. That was refurbished into Monkey Swing when Wild Asia came in. That has now been put into storage at Alton Towers. We don't know where that's going to go, or it's going to pop up somewhere else, or if it's going to come back in a certain way. The future on that is unclear at this stage. We will try and get confirmed reports in the future. But in terms of this area, what it's looking like now, we have, first of all, Cobra, which is going to be rethemed and moved just slightly to the left, just slightly to create a second entrance gate where Land of the Tigers is and Tiger Rock Log Flume. So you're going to have the main entrance at the front, and you have the second entrance near the back. This is obviously replacing Wild Asia, and of course replacing part of the, I believe, the Explorer Glamping as well, which closed a while back as well. So pretty big amount of space they're taking up here. So you've got Cobra, which has been rethemed and moved slightly to the left. You've got a brand new indoor spinning flat ride from what we can see from the picture, from the concept art and the plans. If you want me to make a prediction at this point in time, I think it will be one of the Huss Magics. We see the concepts from that. I think it's not confirmed, but my prediction is I think it'll be a Huss Magic. And for those who have seen the video on Huss's website with the concept building and the theme of that one and how the ride works inside the building, if it's going to be that, I think that'll be a brilliant addition for Chessington, and I would like to see more of those indoor Huss Magics if that is the case. And then obviously the main attraction is in this huge building. If people have seen the construction pictures, this building is ginormous. And if people have seen the concept art for the building, look at that. That is just second to absolutely none in terms of the amount of detail they're going to go in with this. Again, it's very Londinium. Of course, the multidimensional coming to Park Asterix in 2028. So this is your multidimensional coaster. This is going to have many different elements. It's going to have a spike element from what we can tell on the planning application. And with the plans as well. That looks either like a spike element or it looks like the teeter-totter table that we see on the multidimensional concept video a few months back when they were working with ETF Ride Systems on their multi-movers and their dart rides with the multidimensional elements. So it could be a teeter-totter, it could be part of a spike element. We do not know at this stage for certain. We don't know the story of this ride. All we know is it will be a intimate multidimensional coaster. There will also be a few food and beverage outlets. There will also be merchandise. There will also be a sensory room. Now, the one thing I love about this, and there's a concept art somewhere, I don't know if you have it, but there is one particular concept image where it looks like guests are entering what is the sensory room and how it's blended into the artwork decor of the buildings and the surrounding buildings of Minecraft World. So embedded into that will be a sensory room, and how it merges together is honestly, again, it's just second to none. Again, it reminds me of Super Nintendo World at Epic Universe in terms of how immersive it is. For sure, I think there's going to be potentially some moving blocks. There'll be some characters roaming around, I'm sure, especially on opening day. I think that's just going to be insane. But no, the amount of detail that Chessington are going about this is just second to none. A lot of people were not critical, but I think curious as to Chessington going down the intellectual property route with both areas, actually, with Paw Patrol and Minecraft, because a lot of people were worried that it was going down a more IP direction, especially with the original themes of the past, with Wild Asia, with Land of the Tigers, with Wild Woods, even with an IP Dark Ride and Gruffalo, they still rethemed the area to an original theme. So now bringing in some IP areas, there were some, not critics, but some curiousness and some interest in that part as to why they've gone down that direction. And I think IPs have played a massive part in the growth of the industry, especially in this country. So I think that that's probably a big reason why they went down that. And of course, it's a brilliant IP to use because Minecraft's really getting popular again with the new films that came out, with another one on the way, with another one I'm sure that's been planned at the minute. It's an IP that's going to keep growing. A lot of people are still playing the game years later, and rest in peace, Technoblade, an icon of that game. There's a lot of support for this game, and that's probably why they've gone down this route with the IP. And when you look at the concept art of the coaster, when you look at the concept art of the other attractions, this is just going to be a wonderful addition. And again, you're meeting the pigs, you're meeting these different characters. You see, that's the main, from what I believe, that is the main entrance way at the front of the entrance site, or it could even be the second entrance at the back. I could be 100% wrong about that, but I believe it is the main entrance at the front. And the amount of detail in this, and when you see some of the details for just a singular Minecraft event at Alton Towers, when they put these stands up and they put this little challenge out around the park for that, and they've changed the frogs on Tower Street as Minecraft frogs, and the level of detail on that. And that's just one event at a park that isn't even adding Minecraft as an attraction. So for the little detail for that to be brought into a whole area next year at Chessington, again, it's just second to none. And again, what we spoke about with Tropical Americas, with the amount of detail they put into that from a Disney perspective, from a Minecraft perspective, this is the perfect partnership between Merlin and Mojang Studios. I think it's clear Mojang have had a big influence in how they want the area to look alongside the creatives at Merlin Magic Making. The subsidiary creative company is part of Merlin Entertainment, or just Merlin. But yeah, this is going to be up there as one of the biggest investments in the country this year, along with something else which we'll go into later. But yeah, this is going to be incredible. And I think Parc Asterix fans in France, if you want a taste of what Londinium's going to be, this is probably, in terms of ride system and some of the effects you're going to have on the ride, this is probably your best bet. This is going to be your warm up ready for 2028. I would recommend that.
Yeah, that's a good shout out at the end. This kind of piggybacks off what you were saying about the usage of the Minecraft IP, but I wanted to bring it up because Civilian Satellite mentioned it. He was saying it was crazy how big Minecraft was when it came out, and I mean, yeah, definitely. It was like just an insane craze. Having been in like grade school or like elementary school at the time, like everyone was playing it and big on it.
When did it come out? Was it like 2009?
I think 9, maybe 10.
I was just about to graduate primary school when this came out, which is just mental.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those things. We see this on social. We see this in modern social media loads of times. We see things that have gone away for years, or people maybe in music or sport that have gone away for years, and they've come back and made a comeback. It's been in previous years as well. They've gone away and they've come back, and they're in the big spotlight again. Minecraft's one of those that was really popular, had its community still, but wasn't as big as other things, and then just kind of boosted itself back up again, and it sort of launched its second wind almost.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. I did just look it up. So kind of weird. It apparently came out at least as a initial public alpha release. It says in 2009, but its official full release was in 2011. So yeah, that time period, which is, yeah, because I'm pretty sure I remember people playing it before like late 2011. That seems like actually pretty late, honestly. Yeah, no, it was hugely popular, and as you said, kind of had that kind of lull for a bit where it's like, okay, it's still like there, but like it's not as big, and then it's like it boosted itself back up.
And there's an expectation on this one as well. There is an expectation on this one because, like I said, Beano Land was a very 2000s area. Everyone loved it. went away for it towards the end of its life cycle. Wild Asia came in, was just blown away with the people's first reactions to Wild Asia in 2010. And then, it started to tire and then went away. And now, especially with this being an IP, and a lot of UK fans love original themes more than IPs, but they also have time for IPs as well because of how much it's boosted the financial growth of the industry in this country. And that's why IPs are so important from a singular perspective. So there's a lot of expectation from some people on this. I personally have no expectations on this because I want to be surprised. Because I know this is going to be great anyway, so I want to be surprised and keep the expectations low because I know it's going to impress me anyway. So this is a project, again, with this being in the UK, obviously I will definitely try and get there this year, next year for Minecraft World. But no, this is going to be again another brilliant project, and again a lot of expectation from people because of the amount of detail that was in Wild Asia and Beano Land. So I think that this will be another one of those that will be a historic moment for Chessington, definitely.
And as you talk about expectation, something that was interesting to me is whenever there's occasionally a few times happens every once in a while where I'll get like a random text from like a non-enthusiast friend or something about either a coaster that just opened or a project that just happened or a project that just was announced. And I don't think it was like the initial announcement. I think it was like one of the later ones where they had like more of the concept art. I had a friend who again, not an enthusiast, lives actually local, like school friend, like kind of send me some stuff about it. Like they were like, "Oh, this is really cool." They're also like, "Well, when are we getting one of these in the U.S.?" Which I know there's supposed to be an area, but like we haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know what's going on there. But anyways,
I think that'll go to. I think that'll go to one of the Legoland parks in America. I could see that going to Florida or California for sure.
yeah, I'm just again we haven't heard about it in a little bit, but more so I bring that up. It's just like that just kind of shows I feel like how big this is. It's like, I mean, there's a ton of people, and I mean people who play and like anyone who plays Minecraft is definitely gonna have some curiosity with this too. So I think this will be hugely popular, and I'm very excited to see when this land opens. Like what it ends up looking like because the potential is absolutely through the roof. And I think that coaster especially,
Oh yeah,
I do have expectations for the theming of that just because like I think the multi-dimension coaster is like a literal perfect choice for this type of for a ride with a Minecraft theme. Oh my gosh. And I've seen like some of like the PO like I think Digital Dan did a POV that was like an idea of
yeah,
what it
like a
could look
recreation.
like.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, we if it's like that, we're cooking with gas. So,
Yeah, Dan's been smashing it at the minute with his content as well. Yeah, I saw that POV, and if it's going to be anything like that, then bring it on. I mean, this is going to be one of a kind. And again, take the theme away from it. I think a multi-dimensional coaster is perfect for Chessington because you've got these family coasters now. You've got the Paw Patrol coaster, Chase's Mountain Mission with the Sierra Force type coaster. And that was part of that whole area replacing Scorpion Express, which was a family coaster, the old runaway train, and of course the children's area at that point. So that was a great replacement. Then you've also got the other ones. You've got Vampire, which your classic Arrow suspended coaster with no more swinging trains since 03, 02, 01 even. You've also got Dragon's Fury, the spinning coaster. You've got Mandrill Mayhem, which is the launched shuttle wing coaster. That's your more thrilling coaster. This one's going to be a bit more family than Mandrill Mayhem, but still a thrilling investment anyway. So you've got the Major Thrill coaster from 2023 as part of World Jumanji. This one's more family thrill. But no, this is just going to be, again, this is going to be brilliant. Like I said, the coaster itself and retheming Cobra and bringing in a spinning flat ride indoors as well, that's going to be very unique in terms of what that's going to be, 100% confirmed. But it's just going to be unbelievable. And again, like with Chessington, we spoke off camera about Bolton's Park and how they're not even done after their projects, having stuff in the pipelines and stuff in the works. Chessington's still got to get ground broken on the new water park that they've been planning for the past couple of years. They're going to be planning on other new projects. They're going to keep in mind when things are reaching the end of its life cycle. Again, it's just part of what's going to be an exciting few years for Chessington for sure.
absolutely. The only other thing I want to mention with this thing is I mean, granted, I've never been to Chessington, so probably
Mm.
that probably doesn't mean a ton when I say it. But I think this could be, of the coasters that are currently there, I think this could be my favorite of the bunch. So
I think it's up
I'll
there.
leave it
I,
with, yeah,
I think
I'll
it's
leave it at
definitely.
that.
Like I said, I've never been to Chessington either. I'm going to be starting. I think I'm either
Oh,
going at some
okay.
point end of this year, or I'll be waiting for next year for Minecraft World. But from what I saw from the coast lineup and from what people have been reviewing about the coasters that have been to Chessington, um, Mandrill Mayhem's definitely the top one there. I think for obvious reasons. But I think for the family, for those who are too small for Mandrill Mayhem, I think this will be probably the best coaster at the park. If anything, I think some people that love Mandrill Mayhem could even say this tops Mandrill Mayhem
Yep.
as well. I think this has serious potential to not even be the best coaster at Chessington. This has got potential to be one of the UK's best roller coasters of all time.
Yeah, and well, certainly one of its most popular. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, no, that's gonna be exciting to see. History and Leisure mentioned would be nice to see a retheme of Legoland California's Chima section to Minecraft. Yeah, weird Lego IP, by the way, for anyone who followed that way back in the day. But anyways, um, yeah, no, very exciting addition for Chessington and the UK overall. I'll move on to my next project, which is actually a new park, which is going to be Cacao Park in Sao Paulo, Brazil, which is slated to open next year. Also, another project that it's been a little bit since it was announced, but there's definitely been updates. The first POV of the main Vekoma Ghost Rider, which I think is probably the main reason people are looking at this park, was released earlier this year. Um, but pretty much for those who don't know, this is a brand new $330 million theme park, as mentioned, in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Announced all the way back in 2024, which isn't actually really that long ago for a park that's like getting built up right now, actually. They will feature at least three coasters, the top of which being that Ghost Rider, which will assumedly be the first Vekoma Ghost Rider unless something gets announced out of nowhere, along with a Vekoma Suspended Family Coaster and a Vekoma Junior Coaster Horus, which is like their new gen Junior coaster. Um, Along with some other attractions, including like a Vekoma Beat It dueling interactive boat ride. I don't know if people. I probably should have thrown a picture of that in here. Very interesting looking boat ride where you have the drums and have that interactive element. But it also
I've,
has a
I've seen the
drop.
concept of that. I've
Very,
seen I've
very
seen the concept of
interesting
that.
ride. There's another one actually going to Bond Luxury theme park at Vedanta World, which I do expect I'll be going to in the next few years whenever it opens. But
Mm,
very interesting looking thing. They also have a Vekoma Madhouse, which is pretty cool. They're getting a few flat rides as well from Technical Park, including a Sky Roller,
nice.
a Star Flyer, and then a flat ride called like a Technical Park Heavy Rotation that looks quite intense. So um, that's pretty much that. They're gonna have five different themed areas as well, including this area that looks straight out of like Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory, if this like giant
Mm,
chocolate factory sort of setup. Um, Along with an area that's more like 17th century European architecture inspired. Uh, Another area that's more so themed to like an Amazonian trail or setting. A Mayan area, which will have some architecture themed to the uh, Mesoamerican civilizations.
mm,
Um, and then they also are going to have a futuristic area, which will be where the record breaking, or well, they said record breaking, but the for Brazil, but the Vekoma Ghost Rider is going to be at. So, which I'm curious if they actually, because those are the areas they mentioned in the when they announced this park a few years ago. From what I can see, there is some infrastructure that indicates that those are still like the same. So hopefully that translates.
mm.
They're also gonna have a city walk type area and two on-site hotels. So they're really trying to become kind of like a tourist destination of sorts, which is cool to see. So, only other thing I want to mention before like my kind of main questions with this park is that um, The owner and creator of the park is a company called Cacau Show. They're a Brazilian chocolate company, so kind of like Hershey Park, honestly, in the sense of you have a real chocolate company that decided one day to build a park. Now here over like well over 100 years later, so that's kind of cool. And actually, this company actually already has some experience with rides. They actually have a store that actually features a few flat rides and an SPF Visa big air coaster, which is that like hybrid between like the spinning cars and like the hamster wheel. So um, they already have a little bit of experience there, but this is obviously a huge step up from that. First of which, one question: will the theming live up to the concept art because it looks really cool? I think that's pretty
Mm,
much is self-explanatory. Um, can this be where the Vekoma Ghost Rider catches on? There already is some interest in this type of coaster. It's another one that we've seen in Six Flags surveys, but this
yeah.
assumedly will be the first one to open. So can it show out here? Because I think it has an excellent, like, really intense looking layout with some
Mm,
absolutely amazing inversions, along with some nice looking airtime moments. I think it's going to be really fun. And then we're already actually starting to see it. I meant the last thing I had would be like, would this opening push other nearby parks such as Hopi Hari to invest to compete? But it actually already is kind of happening. Hopi Hari is the other park in Brazil that has some notable coasters. They have the RCCA Woody, Montezuma, and the Schwarzkopf Shuttle Loop Catapult. So um, they're actually investing now after uh, some kind of rough years in the like infrastructure. They're going to retrack Montezuma with RMC 208 retracks, so you can already see that that's having an effect.
yeah.
And then Beto Carrero World, also in Brazil, which is actually like 350 miles away, so not even necessarily that close to here. They're spending massively in their investment into the park over the next 4 years, almost $400 million worth. That, of course, includes the SpongeBob Land that'll feature a nearly $90 million Intamin launch coaster. So, um, yeah, so I think we're already seeing that effect. Also, likely a result of Brazil's tourism has been increasing, so probably multiple factors there. But I think we're already seeing that, so I'm curious if we'll see even more of it once this opens. And I do genuinely hope this park is able to do well once it opens. New parks in Latin America, it's been nice to see a few of these new projects after I think a decent bit of years of I think just kind of being a little stagnant, at least like as far as like talking like big coasters and like exciting new parks.
Yeah.
So I really hope this place does well. So that's all I got. But
No, I think in what I'm in Willy Wonka terms, this part just looks like pure imagination. I think this looks brilliant. I think that, like you said, the Ghost Ride has been spotted in Six Flags surveys. I reckon Six Flags Mexico is probably going to be one of those parks if they want to compete with South America, if they want to compete with North America, compete with America in total. I think if they want to compete on all fronts, I think Mexico is going to be one of those parts that's looking at this in Brazil and going, we want a bit of that. Um, yeah, I think this part's going to be brilliant. Very underrated park. Brazil's in for a very exciting couple of years, especially with the with the coaster in 2028 going to Beto Carrero World. I mean, that is going to cost up to just above £66 million, Great British pounds. That coaster. That is very much. It sounds like Tutatis times two. But no, this is going to be an incredible park. Like I said, it's got that very Hershey Park feel. Not just the main coaster, which is of course the Ghost Rider. You've got a family coaster, which will be a complete clone of Twilight Express at Six Flags
yeah,
Qiddiya City. For those who have seen that, that looks beautiful. So I think if they can fill the layout quite well, that's going to be really good. And they're going to have a suspended family coaster by Vekoma known as Mistral, which of course you can see in the left of the screen there,
yep,
coming out behind the factory. I think that Mistral's going to be a great family coaster. That's the for those who want to know the technicals. That is the 550-meter model of the suspended family coaster. And there's only one operating version currently in the world, and that is Serpentica over in Mexico City, Mexico, funnily enough, at a park called Aztlan Parque Urbano. So
Yep.
this is going to be a very unique version of that suspended family coaster. Over 1,860 feet of track plus, just over 75 feet tall, nearly 40 miles an hour. Perfect family coaster. And again, Brazil itself is having a great couple of years. There's another new park opening called Oceanic Park that's going to have an indoor family coaster when it opens in 2027. That's the one coaster it's got, but it's better than nothing. But no, I think Brazil's in for a very exciting few years, and this is just the beginning. Like you said, Hopi Hari is going to be planning for investments. Beto Carrero World's got plans for days. And this is going to be the tip of the iceberg. Again, this is going to be Brazil's Hershey Park in terms of the potential it's got with more attractions and more investments. It's not just about the attractions either. It's about the whole experience. And this is going to really project the brand of cacao as part of this park. So this is going to be a really, really underrated project. I can guarantee this is going to surprise quite a few people in terms of how good it'll actually be. I think it'll be brilliant.
I couldn't agree anymore. I mean, yeah, I think very much, I think kind of slept on, I think because of location. I think mainly because the focus is really on that Ghost Rider, and not necessarily the rest of what the park's going to offer. But assuming it can be somewhat close to what the concept art has shown, I think we are getting a very high quality park here. So very excited to see it once it opens. Let's see if anything came here through the comments. Let's see. There sounds like there's a dog that wants to be on Coaster Time. On Aaron's end. So there you have it. But no, that's always fun. In my case, it would be like my cat trying to open the door, which hasn't happened during a stream, but
I heard some scratching at my door earlier. That was my 1.5-year-old puppy trying to say hello.
But yeah, no, that's fun. My cat is able to open the door though, but it has never happened on stream. But it is kind of funny.
Oh, he's opened my door for sure. It's been locked fully, and he's still kicked it open with his strong legs.
Wow.
And he's stronger than we think. But no, love him.
That's cool. I think that's pretty much. Yeah, I think as far as Cacao Park. So, what is your third project?
So we're going to continue with parks that begin with the letter C, and we're going to go with Coneyland in Switzerland. This is a park that not many people might know about, but those who don't know about it will definitely know by the end of next year. If you didn't know already, they are adding Maasai with an African village kind of themed Mac Big Dipper. So for those who don't know, this park has a very unique roller coaster already in the park that's been open for over 15 years, and that is Cobra, and that is the loop coaster with the world's only scorpion tail type element, where you literally go through the loop and literally you hang upside down in a bit like a scorpion's tail before coming back down and doing the loop backwards. So obviously very unique, quite a hidden gem in the theme park industry. Those who haven't been to that park should definitely go just for that coaster alone. But now there's more than one reason to, and that is of course with the addition of Maasai. So for those who don't know the specifics, this is, like I say, it's a custom Mac Big Dipper layout. This is not a cookie cutter layout of an existing ride. This is a custom layout. It's one of two under construction at the moment. There's still one that was supposed to open last year, but that's not even opened yet in Vietnam. So I don't know what's happened with that one. But with this one, it will have an African theme named after the Maasai people, with a length of 1,640 feet, a height of just over 72 feet, a speed of nearly 54 miles per hour, and it will have 4 inversions, a heartline roll, a corkscrew, and an inclined dive loop involved in that. the theming for this, I mean, if people have seen the concept art for this one as well, because the concept art has been released by Theme Park Magic a while ago, this just looks unbelievable. The amount of detail that's going to go into this, because like I said, the images have been released. I've got one on my screen at the minute.
Okay.
It looks very AI generated, so I do apologize about that, but this is basically the look of the entrance towards the station, where you're going to have the sign. You've got like this African hut style building. You're going to have the coaster coming out of it. You've got some very good detail on the front. If I know that's AI, but if there's going to be the detail in real life as close to what AI is looking like, then obviously we're going to have a very great ride overall. But the layout itself looks brilliant anyway. It's just a brilliant coaster. And there we go. So that is very, if those who don't know, that is definitely AI. I can tell the difference. But AI does have its uses, and if the real life version is going to be as close to that as possible, then we're in for a fantastic ride overall. I don't think the track color will be black. I think we may be looking at something different, but like I said, overall, I think this is going to be a great coaster, and I have kept an eye on this project for a little while, either off camera or on camera, and this is going to be a very interesting project. Like I said, a part that maybe not a lot of people have gone to yet, but a part that absolutely a lot of people will be going to by 2027. Even just to check out the construction of this thing. This is a project that for me has definitely got a lot of gravel. And I think could be one of the most underrated coasters of the year next year in terms of overall across the world. I think it's one of those coasters that's not been given as much coverage as other projects, but maybe should have had the same amount of coverage. This is definitely one to watch. And I think, again, Matt Wright, once again, you've done a great job, as usual.
Yeah, I think this is, and Civilian Satellite puts it in a good way here. Switzerland has been deserving a ride like this for a long time. Absolutely. I mean, especially you got B&M obviously based there. Intamin not too far away either in Liechtenstein. So it's kind of like, all right, come on, we need a coaster of this quality. Though, of course, you do have Cobra, which is, its own kind of like really bucket list coaster, but like just really weird. But definitely worth making this park worth going to. But as you said, this definitely gives that second like kind of reason to go. And I think in terms of it being underrated, as you said, I think you're probably right on the money there, just because as far as even some of the other European projects go, I'm pretty sure this, just as far as like enthusiasts and fans going to this place, it's probably not going to be as many. So I think that's a good kind of shout out, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be a quality ride. Just some things that kind of stood out here. Theming, as you mentioned, does look pretty cool. So as far as what they're shooting for there, the inversion selection looks really fun. Some really weirdly shaped inversions that I'm very intrigued to see how they ride. I also love the roll going out of the station. That is, at least from the one concept I saw. But like, I mean, the inversion there kind of in the middle, like just the way that shaped is really weird. It's like, so you have a normal stall and then you have whatever that thing is.
I mean, that is a zero-G stall in the far right. That is
the far
definitely
right, yes. Yeah,
and the
that
roll,
is a stall. But
if people notice as well, the first launch is coming out of the bottom of the station, and you're actually going to roll or uphill into the brake run. So if that's a roll, then fair play. If it's a hill, that's going to deliver some great whip back into the brake run, which gives you that tremendous force at the front and that whip at the back. So they've definitely thought of everything with this.
Yeah, for sure. But I just think the element selection is like really nice for something that is relatively short, but I think definitely gonna make the most out of its small footprint. And I do expect, while Cobra is certainly the more unique coaster, I expect this will probably just consensus be the like more favored coaster and probably the one that's more popular. Though, of course, I mean, Cobra, you can't take anything away from that.
Cobra's a reflection of the past. I think Cobra's a great reflection of the evolution of Coneyland, and I think this is going to be a great reflection of where they're going. I think they've got an excellent future. So I think Cobra is where they were, and I think where it will continue to go. And I think this is going to be an example of where they're going. And I think the future is very bright.
Yeah, no, I think that's well said, but I hope that thing's still around for a little bit. Although I know that that's potentially a smidge comp. I don't know exactly how the maintenance on that exactly works.
Yeah,
With all the stuff going on there, um, yeah, no, I think this will be a very nice addition and very worthy addition for the region for Coney Land, and I'm excited to see where they can go from here. So I'll move on to my fourth pick, which, as I am pulling it up here, is going to be the one that's kind of like local to me, I guess, relative to these other ones, and that is going to be the Vekoma Thrill Glider coming to Six Flags Magic Mountain, hopefully. Hopefully,
I
in
think it
in
will be. I think it will
2027.
be. I think Six
I think
Flags.
so.
I think the strategy at Six Flags is to give the big rides for the following year their own kind of respective month for promotional campaign, for teasing, for announcing. So we saw that Werewolf Gorge got its month. We're seeing that Project Purple's got its month coming up, and then I think maybe August or September will be the month for this one. But no, this is, and again, I love the fact we're seeing the first one of these, and this is not going to be the last. Obviously, we've got two coming to Europe, at least two coming to Europe in the next couple of years as well, with the race at Futuroscope in France in 2028, and of course, Efteling have announced already for 2029, Mission Luminar, which is going to be going behind the theatre, and it's going to be right near the entrance of the park, which is just insane that you're going to have a thrill glider right near the entrance of the park. And you got one coming to Dubai anyway, themed to Superman. So
I'm
a
still
lot of these.
not fully convinced that the one in Dubai is an actual thrill glider. I'm still kind of like,
Oh no, that one's definitely a thrill glider.
you think so? All right.
Yeah, yeah. So they announced a couple of attractions, and the way they described Superman up and away, it's very reminiscent of how people have been describing the F-Telling one, how they've been describing Race at Futuroscope. It's very similar. So I would, if I was going percentages from sources and from public sources, I would probably give it a 95% chance it will be a thrill glider. Um, but then again, like I said, with Race at Futuroscope as well, with F telling, with the amount of detail they add into their rides, I mean, this is going to be just, again, I can't believe I'm saying this about Six Flags Magic Mountain, who usually produce these colossal projects, but this is just the warm up of what's going to come in the next few years for this kind of concept of roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, uh, just as far as this one goes, I feel like early on there was a lot of like kind of misconception with this ride because there's a lot of people that they like just kind of labeled this as like a true family coaster. I think it was because you had those rumors that I still do expect that Ninja is not long for this world.
Mm,
But that this was kind of a spiritual replacement, so I guess because of that, people thought this thing just wouldn't have inversions.
mm.
This ride will have inversions. No need to be concerned there. And we've had the layout for some time. So it is set to have four inversions, so should be exciting there. I'm excited to see because, as you said, this is a coaster that we already know there's at least three of these that are, and if you want to count Warner Bros. Abu Dhabi and say that is a thrill glider, I'm still somewhat hoping it is like an actual flyer in the
Yeah,
same vein as Fly, but we'll see. But okay, at least three, if not four of these, including this one. It's just kind of interesting to see a model that it's like, okay, there's so many of these that have been bought by different companies, but we actually haven't seen one open yet. So it'll be cool to finally be like, okay, what's this experience like? Because uh, I'm actually very excited for this, even though it's like at Magic Mountain, is it gonna be like one of the most intense or like one of the craziest, like, most ambitious coasters there? No, it's not, but that's fine. Because I think this will provide an experience that's very unique. Because you can just kind of tell from the layout, there are going to be moments that have some form of airtime, which I'm very excited to see how that feels just because of the way you're seated. I actually rode Tron at Magic Kingdom a few years ago. The airtime on there, it has a little bit. It's not nothing that crazy, but the fact that you even get a little bit in that position is so. For me, it's a lot of fun. So I'm kind of like very intrigued to see what something can do on like kind of a scaled up level. Although this is even a little different of a seating position because you're inverted,
Mm,
but and then the inversions as well. The sensation on there in that seating position. I think just the way you feel the elements in that position is going to be what stands out the most to me. I'm very curious to see how that feels, and I think this could make this kind of a sleeper because um, I think just because of the park it's at, some of the other projects going on, and especially here in California with us having Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, which is getting delayed more and more, uh, taking up kind of all the spotlight. This is just kind of faded into the background a little bit.
mm,
I think this will be a very quality coaster for the park, and again, a kind of a sleeper hit that it surprises people with how much they end up liking it because of its uniqueness. The only other questions I kind of have actually is about the restraints. We do have some concept art of what those will look like from some. I forget where exactly it came out of, but we have like
mm,
some bits of it. There's I think questions on how comfortable they're going to be. I hope they are, especially because we are talking about like new gen Vekoma, which typically tends to be pretty good with restraints. So I'm not too concerned there. I also wonder how good the capacity and loading is going to be on this, which obviously for a park like Magic Mountain, with the attendance it gets, and actually now that we see like Efteline, which also gets quite a bit of attendance as well. Um, how good is that going to be? Just like on theoretical potential, are some things I'm interested in. And then also for this one in particular, there is terrain to still work with because it is being built kind of on a hill setting, even after they've cleared out a lot of the land left over by the old long dormant Golden Bear Theater, which also another benefit of this thing is finally using that plot of land. I don't think that thing has
yeah.
been I don't think that thing has ever been in regular use in any of the time I've been there. Um, I'd have to like look back at whenever it was last used, but it's been well over a decade. So I'm curious. Right now, that site is just dirt. Can they like kind of pretty it up a little bit, landscape it, do something with it, so that way like the usage of the terrain this is gonna have actually stands out. That's something I also want to see and hope can happen because I think that would elevate what already looks like a very enjoyable coaster. So that's the Thrill Glider at Magic Mountain. Please open in 2027. I'm hopeful it will. And its announcement, like there's been people saying that they expect it will be in that like August to September timeframe that you were talking about.
Mm,
Um, we'll just have to see if that ends up happening, but I'm hopeful it does. So
yeah.
we will see.
Yeah, this is going to be great. I mean, the name, in terms of, from a name perspective, if the name is going to be Cyber Cycle, I think that is a great name. I think the way they can market that. I mean, we saw the teaser posters months and months ago with the robotic kind of half mechanical, half
I think
birds.
almost years ago at this point. I think we almost might be coming up on 2 years on that. I'm not even kidding. Oh my
It
god,
was
that thing's
that
been
was
there
light year.
forever.
Yeah, literally that was light years ago. No, this is a long project in the making. Like I said, we hope we don't get a West Coast race situation and we open this in on time pretty much. Um, I do have faith in Six Flags. Like I said, if they announce this around August, September, it's that kind of same principle again of they're giving the big projects their own month in the spotlight where it's their time to shine. And if that's the structure for how they're going to announce new attractions going forward for the few big projects every single year at respective parks, I love that. I think that's a great plan by Six Flags because it gives each one their time to shine from the marketing team, from the media team, everyone involved in promoting this, everyone involved in teasing this. It gives them their month to shine and their month to start releasing everything. A bit like what Great Adventure's doing at the minute, leading to their announcement on Tuesday. But no, this is going to be great. Like I said, this is going to Futuroscope the year after. This is going to Telling 2 years later after that. Potentially going to Abu Dhabi, could still be a Vekoma flying coaster, but I'd say more than likely. And did you know Alton Towers was going to get one? And you know what? The reason why is they displayed the concept of the Thrill Glider vehicle in the Alton Towers exhibition. They've opened until the end of until the end of August. And it was basically that Alton Towers was going to get some kind of Thrill Glider in the past. I'm not sure whereabouts in the park, but it was going to be a Thrill Glider at Alton Towers. So
I
this is going
do
to be
remember seeing that in a forum. I do remember seeing someone mention that, and I was like, "That's pretty interesting." That all
yeah,
Towers was
that's a
supposed to be
project
one
we
thing.
never knew about. That's a project that
Yeah.
I personally never knew about. So this is going to be great. Like I said, this is going to be a great addition to the park. I think that the park that has what you think the park has everything, but it really doesn't have everything. But they're really trying to get to that point where we can go and say we've got everything. We are the mega park. But no, this is going to be another great addition. Obviously, there's the people years ago had these opinions of Magic Mountain where they go, oh, they just had coaster after coaster after coaster. In the past few years, and especially in recent times and recent decade, they've really stretched out some of their investments and they've made it more well-rounded. And again, I love this new direction with Six Flags. They're going with more of a storied feel with their attractions, from coasters to attractions. So I think that Magic Mountain will be no exception. I think they're going to have that same story process with with Gorge at Fiesta Texas, with Project Purple at Great Adventure. I think they will have that same kind of principle where it will follow a story. It will be more themed than the other coasters at Magic Mountain. It will be the most detailed coaster at Magic Mountain. And I think if they do have that name aside, if the name will be Cyber Cycle, I'd love that because I think it suits perfectly with that area. It gives a bit of a revitalization of that particular section of the park. They can introduce a real story behind it if they wanted to as well. And they've got a real opportunity again with the terrain, with the hillside, with that whole Golden Bear area, with the theatre. This is going to be a very unique coaster. And again, for those who want to experience Etteling's new one in 2029 or Futuroscope's one in 2028, again, this is the perfect warm-up for that particular investment. I think this is going to be, again, a real sleeper if it is indeed to open next year.
Absolutely. And I think as well, I mean, same as kind of the other coasters, especially now that we have a few of these opening, but this being the first one that people can actually try out, I'm also curious if, people go out and ride this, who are making these decisions as far as, what coasters to get next, if this is something that impresses them and we get even more than what we've already seen. Another one that has appeared on a few Six Flags surveys as well, so we'll mention that. I think Discovery Kingdom of all parks had it on their survey, which kind of makes sense because they can't build tall. So hey,
they might as well go fast.
if they want to find a spot to build one, go right ahead. But
I think Cedar Point as well. I think Cedar Point had one as well. In fact, actually, funnily enough,
maybe you're right. Yeah.
Funnily enough, I do actually have it written down. I do actually have all the surveys from every single Six Flags park, and I've written it, and I've actually written it down on Future Horizon attractions, and I will quickly go down there because I do have all the Six Flags parks on there. So Discovery Kingdom,
yeah.
Discovery Kingdom is one of them. We actually have Magic Mountains, obviously.
Yeah.
I think New England's got a wing coaster, so that's different. I believe Canada's Wonderland might have actually had one. Let me double check that one. No, it was an extreme spinning coaster.
No, yeah.
Cedar Point definitely has one. So Cedar Point and Discovery Kingdom are the two main ones.
Yeah, so that is definitely going to be an interesting model to kind of keep an eye on, as Charles says. Yeah, the Thrill Glider is definitely going to be something that's going to be interesting to monitor. So there we have it. What is your next project?
I had to think about this one because again, there's some great projects. And I've gone to a park that I think again is a real sleeper. I think this is a coaster that's going to really dominate the European editions next year. It is a brilliant looking Intamin hot racer. Going to De Djurs Summerland in Denmark. It is, of course, Midgard Sormen, which is the Danish name. They only just released the full, obviously we knew the layout. We've known the layout for a while. It will run behind Thor's Hammer, the bobsled coaster. We know. what will be the layout, because we've known it for a while, but just recently they finally released everything, and they've released the full color scheme and how it's going to look on the site. Um, this is going to be a great attraction for the park. This is a custom layout, of course, with 3 inversions, a length of nearly 2,000 feet of track, which is just mental. Nearly 76 feet tall, nearly 47 miles per hour. Um, and this is obviously Danish for the Midgard snake, so it's going to be a real battle. Really, you've got the Battle of Thor and the Battle of the Midgard snake. So it's this real kind of a bit like Loki and Balder at Leesburg, how Loki swings towards Balder and they're battling each other. That's the story. Similar kind of concept here: the snake versus the Thor warrior battling against each other. So this is going to be a really good addition to the park.
Absolutely, and I mean, talk about the one-two punch this is gonna add with Piraten and now this. I mean, oof, that's a pretty epic duo. And now you get that finally the coaster with inversions at your Summerland, which is great to see. I did look at I did actually kind of compare the POV a little bit to Mahuka looking at it. Definitely some pretty similar looking elements, so that definitely has me excited. I'm not gonna necessarily say this is gonna be better or worse than Mahuka. Just
Mm.
something I noticed because Mahuka looks and I've heard is absolutely awesome. But it does kind of make me curious because I know they were kind of saying this is kind of like it is accessible to like families as far as like an inverting coaster goes. So that makes me wonder how like necessarily like fast paced or quick this thing's gonna run and how the elements will ride. But I mean, regardless, this is gonna be an awesome addition for Jers. Definitely, as you said, one of I mean, probably if like I were to pick, this is probably the coaster I'd be most curious to ride out of this stuff opening next year in Europe. For me personally, certainly would be up there at least. But I mean, yeah, I think this is going to be an awesome addition for Jur Summerland and Denmark as a whole. So,
Mm.
um,
Yeah, this is going to really complement that whole Viking land area. Obviously, the park introduced Thorshammer quite a long while ago. They brought in the Viking land area about 12 years ago with the couple of supporting attractions, and it felt like it needed that kind of bookend to the area or near enough a bookend to complete part of the area. And this is, without a shadow of a doubt, that bookend. I think it will be the closure point on Viking land to really complete that area.
for sure. Yeah, no, I think it'll be, as you said, a good kind of completion for that area. And I mean, another just these hot racers. We haven't seen too many of them up to this point. I believe this is hot racer number 4, or depending when the other one that's under construction opens. Um,
This will be this will be the fourth one. Obviously, we've
okay.
got Flame of Speed at Dream Island in Russia. That's scheduled for next month, literally in literally about a week's time to open.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the 2 that's already open. So this is scheduled to be number 4.
Yeah, so that's going to be quite the addition there. Um, and the sort of, I guess, Summerland battle of sorts between Forup and Jers continues. So, and I guess some conversations can be ramped up even more with the addition of this. So, both awesome looking parks, by the way. So,
Mm.
we'll just shout out, and then obviously on actually both our ends of things. Believe we've both had an interview with the CEO of Farup Summerland. So, um, yeah, but moving on to my number 5 pick. This is going to be one that I think also hasn't been getting a ton of I wouldn't quite call it a sleeper because I think this
Yeah.
coaster is going to be awesome. But another one announced a while ago. I don't think a ton of people are keeping their eyes on it just with a lot of the other stuff going on. But man, this is one that I am like super excited for. Especially having just been to Japan for the first time earlier this year, though I unfortunately did not visit the
Mm.
Tokyo Disney Resort. That's the new Space Mountain coming to Tokyo Disneyland. So, um,
Very underrated. Very
yeah,
underrated.
So there's still a lot of we know actually what the layout is. Like that's been leaked. Uh, kind of spoilers. Not sure necessarily cares, but I'll give a heads up here. There's gonna be an upward tilt track at the beginning. So that's gonna be a really awesome element. Gonna have multiple launches. This coaster is not officially confirmed to be spinning, but there was a picture that came out a few months ago of one of the vehicles, and it sure looked like it was on the like kind of where the I guess car like how it was sitting and the thing underneath. It sure looked like something that would be rotating. This is a coaster coming from Intamin, by the way, just not to mix up because I know there were rumors early on that this would be the same model as Cosmic Rewind, but this is an Intamin, not a Vekoma.
Yeah.
So um, I mean, if it is spinning, assuming that that is the case, I was already super stoked for this project. But wow, that's gonna add an extra layer to it. And looking at the layout, I think it will because I'm like, it like actually does make sense that it would
Yeah.
have that rotating feature.
I think the spinning seats make it an even more cinematic experience. I think with the layout as well, I think you can already see where some parts are going to spin a certain way potentially.
But I mean, yeah, this is gonna be um, absolutely incredible from like that standpoint. It's also the first Space Mountain like basically original take we've had on it, excluding like the overlays and I guess you could some people like Shanghai Disneyland got Tron, which is sort of their version of Space Mountain, but very different. This is like the first original take on it since 1995 with Space Mountain Mission 2 over at the Disneyland Paris Resort. So,
Mm.
which obviously is now under a different name, but um, yeah. So very excited to see what they can do with this concept all these years later. I also just love that they didn't go with like an IP sci-fi theme. That we are still sticking to Space Mountain. Absolutely love that. Um, but this is part of an overhaul to Tomorrowland that has been kind of years in the making. The park actually shrunk Tomorrowland in 2020 because of the Beauty and the Beast subsection edition, but they also added like the Happy Ride with Baymax, which is a very popular ride actually. If you've ever seen the social media videos and whatnot, it's basically like a dance party, and it's like kind of crazy just how much hype that gets. They're also adding a Wreck It Ralph re-theme of Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters next year, so that's going to be an addition. And this coaster is actually going to be not a like one-to-one like just replacement of Space Mountain, like using the old building. Obviously, completely different layout, but they also just demolished the old building outright and built this one a
Mm.
little further back. So the entire like plaza around this ride is also going to be completely redone, as you can kind of see in the concept art here. And if it looks like it does here, I mean, we are in for an absolutely stellar looking area and attraction at night, especially. And even from the pictures that I've seen of it, that structure looks absolutely wild. So,
Oh, it's
um,
it's very Tron like. It's got vibes of Tron. It's got vibes of Epcot. It's got vibes. I mean, if this is what Magic Kingdom are rumored to be doing with their Space Mountain, because there is rumors now making the
mm-hmm.
circuit that Magic Kingdom's
Magic Kingdom.
next to refurbish their Space Mountain and do maybe either a replacement or a refurbishment or overhaul on it. If that is the case, then yeah, if this is going to be what Magic Kingdom's going to do, if they're rumored to be doing this, then Americans will be very, very shocked at how good this is going to be, especially with what Tokyo's doing with theirs. I think this is just Space Mountain for the 2030s in terms of the next level.
Yeah.
When Space Mountain originally opened at these Disney parks, they brought a level of detail at that time that was brilliant. It immersed people in. We had the Space Mountain at Disneyland Paris with the upgrade as well when they brought in Mission 2 into the ride. And of course, when they rethemed that into Hyperspace Mountain. With the Space Mountains at the other Disney parks, the level of detail back then was brilliant. And they're going to up that again. And then they'll start one by one, I think, refurbishing Space Mountains moving forward. So, me personally, I think Magic Kingdom's next. I'd like Disneyland Paris to be nearby on the list. to take that back into Space Mountain, but this version of Space Mountain, and sort of overhaul that part of Tomorrowland. And Discoveryland is obviously the Paris version. But yeah, this is just going to be another level, and the amount of technological detail that's going to be inside that building is just going to be, again, if we know Disney, it's going to be another level off the scale.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one of those coasters that's going to be one of the most expensive ever built. I didn't write this down, so I'm kind of going off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure the cost was around 430 million for this thing. Um, might be wrong, so don't absolutely quote me on that, but I believe that's what the number was whenever they announced it. Um, but regardless, I think it's somewhere in that ballpark. It's something crazy.
So it
Um,
is 70.5 billion yen, which is approximately
which
$460 million.
Okay, so even a little more. So there you have it. But so that will put it up there as one of the most expensive coasters ever built. Um, and then just some few other notes I had on it. This is going to be the first new coaster at the Tokyo Disney Resort since Raging Spirits, which was added to Tokyo Disney Sea in 2005. So well over 20 years without a new coaster. Certainly, I would understand that feeling with my Disney resort, actually. So that's pretty awesome. And also the first coaster specifically at Tokyo Disneyland since Gadget's Go Coaster in '96. So now we're talking about like a 30 plus year
Wow.
gap since the last one. Um, and I do expect this will be the best coaster in the resort when it opens, like
Oh,
pretty
for sure.
easily.
For sure.
And my kind of one question, and this one is kind of getting a little crazy with it, because I'll explain this in a bit, but I do question if I were to ride all these 2027 coasters, could this potentially be in the running for my personal favorite of the bunch? That's kind of the question I have, because for me personally, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is my number 11 coaster out of the 225 I've ridden. I'm super high on it. And even Space Mountain at Disneyland is a top 35 coaster for me. I just love the atmosphere that it brings, the sense of speed, even though you're not going that fast, just because you're indoors with the music, with
Mm.
like the wind in your face indoors, is absolutely insane. So. I do legitimately think this will be for me probably one of my favorite coasters opening next year. And like I said, my question is, could it be uh, that like literally that personal favorite whenever I get around to doing some of the other top ones. So um, yeah, just going through the chat here. Magic Kingdom Space Mountain is so good, but yeah, this will be way cooler themed. I am curious because you did mention the rumors if something like this is on the way for Magic Kingdom or if they'll go a very different direction. It'll be a shame to see that one close, but I do understand that it is kind of inevitable whenever
Yeah,
they change it. I do hope Hours of Disneyland is like one of the last ones they ever touch because
I
that
would
thing is
say
so
so.
good.
I think with I think with the
Um,
legacy and the heritage behind that one, I'd say that's one of the last ones they'll touch. I definitely think the one here in Europe is going to be touched way before the original Disneyland. Um,
they got to get the
there's-
Hong Kongs also because I think it has
yeah,
the same issue the old one here did, where it's just basically an inferior version of the California one because they didn't put the
yeah.
onboard audio on it. So
I'd say with the Magic Kingdom one, I would say that it won't be before 2030. If they're going to do it, it will be during the 2030s decade.
yeah, so we'll see. Yes, they did. Ours was overhauled massively in the mid 2000s. That's when they added new trains with the onboard audio and retracked the entire thing. So yes, that did happen. So that also certainly is helpful. Um, but I will say I don't know when they'll get to it, but our overall Tomorrowland could use some work. Uh, but I hope that wouldn't come at the cost of Space Mountain. But Civilian Satellite mentions the old Tokyo Space Mountain was fun, but the weakest they've been on. It looks like they'll be getting the. Yeah, I agree 100%. I do fully expect this will be the best Space Mountain once it opens, and one of the absolute best coasters Disney has ever made. I won't quite say absolute best because Guardians is kind of just a monster, just as far of the scale of it and everything. But I think short of that, this could be the best. So,
Yeah, I think
um,
it's definitely gonna be up there for sure.
but yeah, so that'll wrap it up for me for my fifth pick. I do know your fifth, but you can introduce it.
Yeah, it's I mean, I was at the opening of the new area this year at Polton's Park, which was Valgard, and they're going to be opening phase two in 2027, which we knew at the Supervans event. They had the full map with the 2027 project on their wall. We only knew at the time the map with that area blocked off and blurred. They had the full map for the past 2 years now. So they've known about it for 2 years. We've only known about it for a few months officially, and that is, of course, Serpent's Curse. The UK's, and I can't believe I'm saying this, and it's been this long, the UK's first water coaster. We've had flumes, we've had our classic flumes, we've had the flume at Alton Towers, we've had Dragon River at Chessington, which is now Tiger Rock. We've had the Drench Falls log flume at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, the Pleasure Beach Resort back in the day, replaced by an SLC. No comment. But we've not had a water coaster yet, and now we're going to. Now, when they released this, I was very excited. There were people that asked the question because they'd seen the modern Mac water coasters and they've looked at that and they've seen, why hasn't this one got a launch? Why isn't this one longer? Those are the two main questions from some people. And I answered those questions straight away. And I said this on my video. Other people have said it on theirs. I'm going to say it right here, right now. First of all, why doesn't it have a launch? This is a family coaster. This is for all ages. And that's what Polton's has always tried to be. They want to go with a traditional layout, something that isn't too long, something that isn't too massive, but has that impact. Again, look at Dracon. Few people were saying, why is that shorter than we think it could be? The reason why is because the dragon has an instant impact with that fiery breath. So from a story perspective, they want an instant impact coaster. And that's what the Gerstlauer Eurofighter was. This, again, the serpent rising and falling through the waves, delivering its curse amongst the lake. That's the point of this. It's a short burst impact coaster with that final splashdown at the end. Now, why isn't it, again, it comes back to that question, why isn't it longer as well? It's because they needed an instant impact coaster again, and it delivers so much in a shorter burst of time to other rides. So for me, they didn't need a launch on this one because it was a traditional water coaster, and they didn't need to make it too long because this was the instant impact of the serpent rising through the waves. This is how we create story-led experiences in the theme park industry. You think from a story perspective, not what the enthusiasts want. So you think about what everyone needs, and what everyone needs is a storied coaster, and this delivers a storied coaster. As part of this, of course, the little flume ride, the little water ride Seal Falls will be rethemed and relocated near Serpent's Curse. And as far as I'm aware, it will be known as Little Serpents, but that could just be an insider joke. For those who saw the vehicles of that, by the way, how cute is that vehicle? And that's just for Little Serpents. Serpent's Curse vehicles are going to be double the size as expected. But no, this is going to be, again, Polton's just seems to keep knocking it out of the park. And I think Polton's and Nigloland were in similar situations where they're very much family parks. They brought in major investments over years and they've just kept growing ever since. And now they're at that crescendo point where they're making these massive investments. Polton's back in 2010, very different to the Polton's park we're going to see in 2027. Polton's was very much a family park in 2010. They had their big investment, which was Cobra, before Cobra came in, which is now known as Raven, of course. They had the Stinger, they had another coaster, and they also had, in fact, before the Stinger, they had the Runaway Train, which was like a little temporary coaster for about 2 seasons. But this is another example of the direction that Polton's is moving at the minute. It's why it's one of the best parks, if not arguably the best park in the country. Because they do things a certain way that just seems to click with everyone. So this is going to be an incredible project. The level of detail with the story of this, with the promotional video that they released to us on the Superfans event, we were there. I got to witness it firsthand, surrounded by brilliant people watching the reveal live. And that was a tremendous opportunity. So I always thank Paultons for that. They've always been brilliant with me, and everyone else in the community. So this is going to be another one of those investments that just knocks it out of the park. And I did say earlier during Minecraft World that this, alongside what Paultons are doing, was going to be the big investments next year for the UK. And the proof is in the pudding for me. I think this is going to be an absolute knockout.
Yeah, no, I think it is going to be a great fit for the park for the reasons you mentioned. Finally getting that major water attraction. I did want to pull up a picture of Seal Falls in its now previous form here, just to kind of show it here, because it is a very funny looking ride. But here it is in all its glory.
That's literally
Absolutely.
all it is. It's literally just a short round circuit with a little hill, and it's literally one of these kids' flume rides. Have you got the picture of the of what the car is going to look like as little serpents?
Okay, I will try to get that up on my end over here. Let's see, because
Because if people haven't seen that, it is honestly if the detail is reflected in the concept art in real life, that it's going to be a very fun little ride. Bearing in mind, Polton's already has a kids log flume, or sorry, kids flume ride, shall we say, with Splash Lagoon over in Lost Kingdom. So they're gonna have this kids flume ride, and they're gonna have this little sort of toddlers flume ride with
would
little
this be
serpents.
it?
This is so cute.
No, that's great. That is actually no, that is actually really, really well done and very cute, as you said. So, wow. But no, I love how that along with being close to Serpent's Curse is brilliant. So
Mm.
yeah, no, that's awesome. But
But no, this is going to be brilliant. Again, Matt Wright have delivered another fantastic layout. Like I said, it's not like I said. I don't think the concern is it's too short because again, the serpent rising and falling in the waves. The story is that you are riding on the serpent. You are experiencing the curse of these abandoned waters, and it delivers that short burst impact that Draken does, that other rides do. And again, it complements the area perfectly. I think because we basically, for those who don't know, there's a massive feasting hall. That's the main restaurant in the area. And where the splashdown's going to be, literally part of that is you can watch it from the outside balcony of the feasting hall. And so not only are you going to get views right up and close to the ride, you are also going to get views eating your food outside the splashdown, which is just unbelievable. I mean, the views you're going to get on that is brilliant. And the feasting hall's great already. You've got this kind of
it's
big.
far enough away from the splashdown, right? We're not gonna have an Energy Landia situation in our hands.
It is far enough away, but you are going to get
Okay,
quite close. You are still going to get quite close to it for sure.
just had to make sure because like some of the footage I've seen of the Energy Landia like walkways that are near some of the water attractions is like that is absolutely hilarious. But hey, that love that it's gonna have a great view of it though. So that's great.
But yeah, what an investment. Like I said, Polton's keep knocking it out of the park. They've got stuff already planned beyond this. Obviously, we're going to wait for the next year or so for the official planning application for their holiday village, which I'm sure is going to be a Scandinavian theme. So the Poltons aren't even done. Poltons are not even done. They're going to keep expanding. They're going to keep working. I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, Critically, it's going to be the next area to be redeveloped at some point in the future, in the near future, maybe even before 2030. Who knows? But yeah, in terms of Poltons, they just keep developing and keep improving. They keep bringing new things to the table. And now I've had a chance to do the attractions at Polton's Park. And again, I spoke to you off camera about this. The operations of that park are just off the scale. Things that you sometimes in other parks may wait an hour for, and it may be labeled as an hour, you may only wait 20, 25 minutes max. I think the most I waited on Valgard's opening day for any of the Valgard attractions was 20, 25 minutes for Dracon. and then it built up to about a 90-minute queue, and then people waited only 50 minutes at most if it was a 90-minute queue. Like, the operations on those rides are just second to none. So I think this will be no different. I think we're going to see multiple cars on this one. I think there'll be, in my opinion, there'll be at least 3 or 4. But I wouldn't be surprised if 3 or 4 was the minimum, considering Polton's operations. But no, this is just going to be brilliant. And the theming on this is going to be unsurpassable as well.
Absolutely, and yeah, your praise of the operations, of the direction the park is going in, is something that I have certainly seen and felt amongst many others in the community. So loves hearing Paulton's Park get all the praise it's getting. They really do seem to be doing things the right way, and I'm excited to obviously see Serpent's Curse, and then beyond that, because as you said, they are not done. They have a lot still coming down the pipeline. So that is obviously fantastic. And then History and Leisure brings up that Paulton's expanding their offerings a bit makes sense since there isn't a thrill park in the Southampton area to their knowledge. And the cruise terminal as well as mentioned here. Yeah, it's a little. I have looked at it for logistical purposes just because sometimes I'm like, as far as like parks distances, like if I were to do like a trip out to certain places, and Paulton's is a little out of the way, so it does seem to be like it is a little bit like further out from the other parks, which is so it's
Yeah,
nice
when
that they're
I
expanding.
when I went over for Valgard's opening day, I had to stay in this hotel that was about 5 minutes drive from the entrance. It wasn't too bad,
Mm,
but like it is quite in the middle of nowhere. It is in some regard, and like even for the Valgard opening day, like there was about 20, 30 people there 2.5 hours before they opened the park. Like the
wow,
hype was unsurpassable. And there's been people that have been traveling from like 5 in the morning to get there, and I stayed the night before. So and
that's
the night
wild.
and the night also. So I stayed 2 days down that end of the country, coming from up north down right down to the bottom of the country, just to do Valgard. And I'll be doing the same again for Serpent's Curse next year for
How,
sure.
how long a drive was it?
Well, with me taking the train and
Oh,
then
okay, there you go.
including the Uber to the hotel, Uber to the park, Uber back from the park to the hotel, Uber from hotel back to the station. I think I must have traveled a total of about 10 hours.
One way or both ways, right? Or
Altogether about ten
oh,
hours.
okay,
I
okay.
think
I was about to say, I'm like, okay, yeah,
I
all
think
right.
just the train. I think just the train to Southampton and back from
That is
where
a
I am.
decent
It's
bit
about
though.
four. It's about 4.5 hours.
That is a decent bit though, actually, because I mean, just as someone from the U.S., it's like, oh, these parks aren't really all that far from each other, all things considered. But wow, that is actually pretty far um, on your end of things. So that is impressive. Um, but yeah, I think that'll probably wrap that one up, and then we'll get to our sleeper picks, which I'll get to my first one here. This one's kind of cheating, and we don't really know for sure, for one, if this is even a confirmed coaster, and then two, the timeline of it. But I wanted to get something that it's like, I don't even know if it's going to be something I talk about much on the channel, but anytime a new place potentially arriving onto the radar of enthusiasts and just kind of parks, it always intrigues me. And so my sleeper is going to be
Mm.
the rumored indoor coaster at Kennedy Space Center. So, especially for those of you outside the U.S., you might not know exactly what Kennedy Space Center is, um, but so just to give kind of a rundown on that, what is this place? This is actually NASA's main complex used to launch spacecraft. They have a visitor complex and educational center on the site. It's located about 50 miles east of Orlando, so that's kind of also why it's interesting, because it's like, hey, you could tack this onto your like Disney World or Universal trip, although you already have a lot going on, but like you have that theoretically. Um, but yeah, pretty much to describe what like most of it is, it's kind of like more so of a museum, educational sort of thing. But they've allegedly been wanting to shift from being more like kind of a museum to a place where visitors can kind of experience what it's like being in space, that kind of experience. And they actually already have a few attractions. They have a shuttle launch experience simulator that they built in 2007, which is a simulator attraction. And I didn't even realize this until like researching this a few days ago. They actually have a flying theater they quietly opened in 2022, which I'm like, that's kind of crazy that I just never heard about it. But yeah, they have a flying theater as well that has like multiple different programs, so that's kind of cool. Um, but basically, as far as this ride goes, here's, or actually, it's back here. Um, so basically, what we know about it, there was actually some building permits that seemed to show what would be a new ride coming in, but that was kind of a rumor, and it still sort of is. But someone took these pictures. Actually, let me give the credit because I have the name up here. It's just difficult on my end to see because it's a little quiet, or not quiet, small. Crazy Bird 199 on Reddit in the roller coaster subreddit posted some pictures of the construction site. These are very clearly footers where the building is going to be. So the belief is that this is going to be a coaster. There already were rumors prior that they were building an indoor coaster. And actually, on top of that, as you can see on the sign here that is outside of the site, they do have a little construction site that has a basic illustration of a coaster. Does that really mean a whole lot? Not necessarily, but it is something. And again, this was already rumored prior to the construction being underway due to the permit and their interest in wanting to lean towards being more experience based. Um, as for what this coaster is, that's the burning question. What type of coaster is this? We don't have a ton to go off of. There's not even really much leading theories. There is something that has been mentioned though with this, in that there
Mm.
there is a mock spinning coaster that is set to come to a undisclosed location in the US, but we don't know where that is. It hasn't been announced. So there's been a few people who've said, could this be the spot? An indoor mock spinning coaster would be
That'd be
kind of
cool.
neat to have. Could certainly be plenty of other options, but I would expect something more family oriented just based on the size of the building permit and just what this facility caters to. Um, so that's kind of one of the questions. And my second one is, could this lead to an even greater emphasis in rides and experiences? Again, they opened a flying theater in 2022, so this wouldn't be their first like major ride endeavor if they add this in. This place actually attracts 1.7 million visitors per year, which is pretty darn good. So, and it is a facility owned by NASA, so certainly they have the money to be able to build out more if they have the land available to do so. So, those are kind of my questions, and I more so kind of want to bring this out just as a heads up in case this coaster gets announced, and it's probably going to surprise a lot of people when it does. But
Mm.
just to kind of make people aware of, hey, this could be kind of at the least like a nice like little nice credit that you can get in addition to just being a cool place to visit that also has a flying theater, um, and maybe beyond that, maybe they expand into something more. So certainly is one that's going to be ridden quite a bit as well, just because it is near that Orlando area and you have a lot of Orlando content creators out there. So I'm sure you'll see a decent bit of coverage whenever this opens if you're looking for it. So again, assuming this is a coaster, which just based on a lot of things, I think it's like 80% at the minimum, if not higher. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this uh, rumored project here at Kennedy Space Center. I'll just go through a few things real quick. Michael mentions that would be cool to have a coaster there. This is actually a facility I've wanted to visit for years because they have the only space shuttle I have not seen in person. Actually, if I go back to slide here on the top left, that's Space Shuttle
Mm.
Atlantis. This was an actual space shuttle that went into space. I've seen the other two, but I have not seen this one, so it's kind of been on my bucket list for that reason already. So if they can add a credit along with it, now we're really cooking. But yeah, I think it'd be awesome to see, just because it would add more to what already looks like a really cool place to visit. They also, if you catch this place whenever they launch a rocket, you get views from there too. So that's pretty cool too, as you can see on the bottom right there. So, um, yeah. So I think that's pretty much it as far as chat goes. Aaron, if you have anything to add here, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know too much about this project. Like I said, this is the first I've kind of understood a bit about it, but it's quite a unique roller coaster concept, whatever it may be. So I think that the centre will definitely benefit from something quite unique for the whole experience. So um, yeah, I think it'd be interesting. I'm interested to see more about it.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, this is probably again kind of cheating, not an official coaster, and way too early probably because we don't even have like an announcement time frame. We don't know if this is going to be 2027. At least they've gotten started with like the footers and whatnot. Those pictures were taken a few weeks ago, so we'll see. But figured, hey, I like talking about like just some weird projects whenever, and like this definitely fit the bill for that. So, um, yeah, that'll wrap it up there. But you do have your final sleeper pick, so we'll get to that one here.
Yeah, this one is one that I don't think a lot of people would have expected me to pick. So this is Bobbington Land. This is another very underrated park, and they're adding a few Nickelodeon attractions for 2027. So this one I wanted to pick out because it's got a great overall package about it with the Nickelodeon theme, and it's got a great range of attractions overall. Um, so with the attractions itself, in terms of specific names and specific types of attractions, um, we have the removal of the Hush Jets, the Flying Orcas. The Wave Swing has been relocated to a different part of the park. We have a Zamperla Big Waves, as you can see at the top of the concept. That one's the 15 to 21 meter drop, creating the 10-meter tidal wave. So you can't get away from it off ride either.
Yeah.
um, you also have a wild swing. Everyone loves one of these wild swings. I did the one at Polton's Park for Valgard's opening. That is just brilliant. That's a brilliant ride. I'm really glad Bobby Young Land's getting this one. And then there's also a Zamperla family drop tower as well, themed to Garfield with Garfield's birthday surprise. So the story for that one's really unique because you've got to try and get the birthday cake before dropping back down the drop and try and get up again. It's one of those kind of stories. It's quite a unique one for a drop tower. Really, really clever. It's got some other
Fits with
great.
the Garfield as very well as well. That is very much a Garfield story. So
It fits perfectly. And then you've got like the Hydro Lab where you can shoot water targets. It's a fun for all experience. And then you've got the Yum Yum Go, which is the quick service food, and then you've got the Nickelodeon shop, home to the merchandise. So, again, I wanted to pick that one because it was a very overall package for the area, and I think Bobby Online's doing a great job with this one.
yeah, I mean, the things that stood out to me for one, I mean, the fact they're getting one of these Imperial Big Waves. I've never ridden one of these. They've been super intriguing. I don't even know if I would necessarily like be that big of a fan like riding it, but definitely is a cool thing to watch. Definitely one of those rides that is like really cool to see from off ride. So the fact they have one of those, that's going to be very aesthetically pleasing, I think, and that's going to be pretty cool. I don't know what SpongeBob's house, if it's confirmed what use that'll have, but I like that they included that in the land. My like just kind of one concern looking at the art is I hope the landscaping can be pretty accurate, at
Mm.
least eventually, to what it appears in the concept art because what I've seen like previous Nickelodeon Kids areas, not including the one that just opened at Universal Kids Resort, a lot of them have had like pretty colorful grounds and whatnot, and I don't necessarily see that here. It seems like most of the color is coming from the actual buildings and rides themselves.
Mm.
So And I think that can work great if the landscaping is good there. You don't need to always do like these crazy like make the ground like these like insane colors necessarily. But I would just hope that that is there so the land looks kind of filled out. So that'd be like the only concern I'd have there. But looks like it'll be definitely a quality addition for Bobby on land overall as a package, as you said. So.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And then Civilian Satellite mentions Bobby on Land is very underrated. Love what they did with their Land of Legends area. So you trust this area will be great. Yeah, they seem to be having a good thing going. So hopefully this will be a nice new addition. But looks like that'll wrap it up. I don't recall seeing other projects mentioned. So and with the time I'm looking at it, I think we are good to go to the next segment. So I will
Mm.
do just that. Um, so let me get this off the stage here. So the next segment, as alluded to earlier, is going to be our United Kingdom coaster draft. And actually, I do need to bring the slide back up for just a smidge of an explanation here. So here it is. Both of us, if you've seen this before, basically both of us will be trying to make the best possible lineup. Only drafting coasters from the United Kingdom. It's in a snake format, so whoever gets first pick in the first round will have the basically second pick of the round after, and like that continues forward. That just makes it more fair. Although in this one, the first pick is quite valuable, I would say probably. So, as Michael already alludes to, uh, we will have a coin flip here that will determine the order. 20 coasters for each of our lineups. Once a coaster is taken, the other person can't take it. Assume theming, setting, all that is retained. Doing coasters such as Grand National and yes, even Steeplechase, even with its 3 tracks, count as a single coaster and slot. No under construction coasters, and the winner is decided by viewers via YouTube stream poll. And there will also be a vote on Instagram if either it remains a tie on here. We can go to that as well, or we'll just have some different ways to reference. So that is pretty much going to lead us into that. So I will get the screen up here for the coin flip.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, nah, this is always like this is one of the one of my favorite segments that we do here, the coaster draft. So okay, since you were the guest, I'll let you pick between heads or tails, and then based on that, you will be able to choose if you want to go first or second. So are you taking heads or tails here?
Uh, I'll go tails.
Alrighty, so we will flip this thing. Here we go. And it is heads, so I do have pick as far as do I want to go first or second. I am going to go first, unfortunately for you. So that is a very easy decision here. And actually, I will flip these just so now we have that ready. So I'll just get this started real quick. I am going to take Hyperia here with the first pick. You do have back-to-back picks.
I would kind of thinking you were going to take Hyperia. To be fair, I've not done Hyperia yet, so I'm quite happy for you to take that one.
Okay. Well, there.
So with my lineup, I wanted to create a more well-rounded coaster lineup with 20 spots. So I'm going to start off with the big thrill editions. So for number 1, I'm going to go for Nemesis Reborn at Alton Towers. That one for me is it just brilliant. It was my dad's favorite ride as well, so that's for him, that one as well. And then for my second, I'm going to go with a multi-launch, and I'm going to go with Icon at Pleasure Beach Resort.
Those would have been, if I were in your position, I would have picked those two.
And it includes Ento as well.
Yep,
and again,
I noted that because
that is
important.
That is insane, by the way. That Ento experience is insane.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it. I definitely, whenever I get out there, that I will definitely do the Enzo experience because I mean, it does look absolutely crazy. and Nemesis as well. That is,
Mm.
uh, as far as inverts go, definitely uh, at least top three as far as bucket list. So of ones I have not done yet. So great picks there. Whew boy. So yeah, no, those are excellent picks because those are the next two I was gonna go with. I question if that the I have like kind of my own personal board, but I'm like I'll go with something unique. It is a polarizing coaster, but I will go Smiler at Alton Towers.
Okay.
Um, it is. I mean, it does have the most inversions on Earth, and I think it is one of those unique coasters that it is. Even though there are other Eurofighters, um, although this being an Infinity, but still, um, it's still there's nothing like it. So I have to take that. My next one, this is where it gets tricky because there's like a few options I do really like here. Um, however, I will take, man, this is actually difficult. Um, I'm looking at it. This is a little further down for me, but I do kind of think I think you're gonna grab this one, and I'm a little more confident I can get one of the other two I want out of this. But I know I'm like pretty sure you're gonna take this, so I'm gonna take Wickerman at Alton Towers.
That was my next pick.
So yeah, I think at this point, especially with Megaphobia gone, that is the best
Mm.
wooden coaster in the country, and it's a little more accessible, I think, as well. I think relative to some of the other top coasters here, so I think that's a fair pick.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, you took my next pick. Right. So I need to think about this one. I need something family thrill. So I'm going to go with something that maybe could have gone lower in the board, but I'd like to secure it because I think it is a great storied coaster, well landscaped. I'm going to go Gold Rush at Drayton Manor,
Oh man,
the
yeah,
Intamin lift and launch coaster that replaced Pandemonium and the legendary Apocalypse flat rides. Um, I did that one for the first time this year, and that was just unsurpassable. The kind of family thrill experience that it is. So I definitely Gold Rush, and then I'm going to go for the more thrilling coaster again. Um, I'm going to go. I mean, since you've got a 14 looper, I might as well go a little bit lower, and I'll go with Sick at Flamingo Land Resort, my 10 looping coaster. It's for me better than Colossus,
I think
better
for
ride than
most.
Colossus, a lot smoother, and yeah, for me, I think Sick's definitely the one.
Man, Gold Rush. I was thinking that maybe that would slip later, but I guess that's the cost of me getting Wickerman. So that one I did actually want in my lineup quite badly at some point. That being said, neither of the coasters you took were ones that I was planning to take, so I actually the strategy worked out quite well on my end. I will
Okay,
be taking Stealth here at Thorpe Park.
that's fair.
Um, just that launch is going to be absolutely insane. Having done the hydraulic launches here, Accelerator probably being the closest comparison. And then I will take Swarm, also at Thorpe. So that was another one that definitely looks like one of the better wing coasters out there. So uh, easy
Well,
pick
you've made
there.
my job a little bit easier then with wing coasters because I was definitely going to take one of them. So I'm now left with the other one, which is still a good looking ride. So I'm going to go with Manjo Mayhem at Chessington World of Adventures. Um, Again, I can't wait to do that one in the next year or so, especially with Minecraft World next year. Um, and I need a spinning coaster, so I'm going to go Storm Chaser at Polton's because that for me is the best spinning coaster in the country. After doing Spinning Racer of like Water Valley, that is close. That is the best Mara spinning coaster. But in terms of overall best spinning coaster, I would go with Storm Chaser.
That I'm disappointed that I couldn't even get the Sierra Sidewinder clone. I just wanted that just to have be because I love Sierra Sidewinder, so I'm like, but that I mean, yeah, I get that. Shoot. Okay, you are you are putting me in a little bit of a weird spot because yeah, you've already taken Gold Rush. You have Storm Chaser. Both of those certainly more family oriented rides. You could even argue Mandrill Mayhem is kind of like on the borderline of like that family thrill.
Mm.
Whereas all I have right now is I guess Wickerman as far as that goes. So and I'm trying to look at the options. Yeah, those were some of the better ones, and actually, it kind of takes a while. There's still some. It's not completely.
I've got a plan for my next two picks. So I'm hoping you don't take anything from the plan that I have.
Okay, so as far as gaps go, although it, I am all right. It is difficult because I am going a little off the board of my board a little bit, but at this point, I am gonna take Galactica at Alton Towers.
It's okay.
Um, just to have a flying coaster in there. Um, and the next one, I mean, at this point, I do need something as far as like kind of more that family thrill. So yeah, I am gonna take it. I'm gonna take also 13 at Alton Towers. So I already have four Alton Towers. My entire lineup is Alton Towers and Thorpe Park so far, which is kind of hilarious. So
Well, it's not interrupted my plans. I need a Viking land, so I'm going to take both Drakon and Raven.
okay.
I'm going to take both Polton's Park coasters because both of them are just brilliant. And I think that'll complement a Viking land very, very well.
All right. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. At this there's a ride that like there's a few rides that like because tried to watch POVs for like some of the higher up ones just to have or ones that I thought there's a few rides that I kind of was like just looking at the POVs and whatnot. I'm like I feel like I'd actually be higher on these than consensus. Um, I'm just questioning whether I take them yet. Uh, Actually, I do like I am going to take with my first pick. I am gonna finally go outside of Thorpe Park and Alton. I will take Dragon's Fury at Chessington.
That's fair.
Um, so does I'm not the biggest fan of the Mauer spinners I've done, but I think they've been braked. This one does look very good though, so
Mm.
um, that's definitely worth shout out. And then next one, um, and I'm gonna do it. I just um, why not? Let's do Saw the Ride at Thorpe Park. The layout looks good to me, and I like Mystery Mine, which people complain about the roughness. So I'm like, you know what? Nah, I think I'll actually like it. So, you know,
No,
it's also
that's
polarizing.
no, that's fair. Right, I need a bit of a racing theme, so I'm going to go with the unique one. I'm going to go with Avalanche at Pleasure Beach Resort, um,
Okay.
a unique type of coaster. Um, and then I'm also going to add Legoland Windsor's Minifigure Speedway, again with that racing theme.
Okay. Okay. So, oh boy, this one's actually too long. I need to extend it actually because I did not realize. I thought I actually accommodated for that already. I guess not. Okay. So we got those. Good picks there. I will also take my racing coaster. I will be taking Grand National
That's fair.
at Pleasure Beach Resort. And I did really want to have that one in my lineup. So, um, and I don't have an invert yet, so I will take Nemesis Inferno as well. So
Nice.
there we go.
Um, Again, to complement the racing, I need something with a bit of a cool theme. So I'm going to go with Waves, and I'm going to go with the Wave at Drayton Manor. Obviously, it used to be a stand-up coaster known as Shockwave. So I'm going to go with the Wave on that one, and then Right, this is going to be interesting. I think since you took a Woody, I will take a Woody. I'm going to take the Antelope from Gulliver's World. Very underrated looking coaster.
Oh wow, okay.
Something for the families as well.
There you go. Yeah, that's a fair point. I Yeah, that I did not even have that on. I have like a draft board list. I did not have that one on like the actual like my own board. All the other coasters I did. The Antelope's the first one I haven't. Wave I wanted. That was a great pick. Um, I that actually, yeah, that bums me out a little bit. That you got that one. Let's see what else. Yeah, the best family coasters were kind of just plucked, I feel like. So it's kind of slim. It's not. It's kind of slim pickings, honestly, as far as that goes. So, um, let's see. What else is there as far as. I'm gonna take another classic, another polarizing one. I will take Big One at Pleasure Beach Resort. Um, don't know if I'd actually like it that much or not, but it's massive and it's an icon, so I'm gonna take it. Oh yeah, shoot. Okay, yeah, easy take. I forgot about this. Revolution, Pleasure Beach Resort. That I almost completely forgot about that. That one was like, yeah,
Yeah,
easy grab.
yeah, you got the classics in there. I'm going to go with a classic on this one. I'm going to go with Millennium at Fantasy Island. That is a classic Vekoma, and it's still running very well for an old Vekoma, for an old classic Vekoma, like for that kind of style. Compared to the newer Vekomas, like it's running brilliant. Um, and I'm going to do something with the kids in terms of the kid rides. I think just because I did it for the first time only about a few weeks ago, one of the new ones this year. I'm going to go Blue with the Ride at Alton Towers. Something for the kids, something that's going to entertain the kids market.
That I was curious. That was like the one kiddie coaster that I'm like I could see it getting picked. So I'm like, all right, that is actually what an, also
That's
yeah
part of
another
my
family coaster.
Bluey area.
There you go. Okay, so at this point, um, okay, this is where it gets interesting. So, um, I will take yeah, the problem is yeah, the family coasters are actually kind of rough right now because especially like there's some spinners, but it's like I don't know that I really want to add another one right now. It actually is kind of difficult. Um, just for classic, another classic. Even though I'm not sure that it's something at least. I'll take Vampire at Chessington. Um, and then I'm just gonna take all the classics apparently because I'm getting uh, roller coaster at Great Yarmouth as well. So three wooden coasters deep at this point, if not four, depending on the dueling of Grand National. So yeah,
Um. Oh wow. Um. You know what? I need a Western area, so I'm going to bring in two family coasters that I think will complement it very, very well. I'm going to go with Buffalo Stampede at Twin Lakes. That is a classic family coaster. That used to be at the Old American Adventure before that park closed in 2007. So we'll bring in that.
actually,
And
that one
then,
I want to put up on the. I want to throw on RCDB real quick just so those
mm,
watching actually can see what it is because it might be a little more obscure. So this is a Zamperla powered coaster.
yeah,
You can see has somewhat of a wood setting. So there you go.
yeah. So it used to be at the American Adventure before moving to Twin Lakes. So yeah, classic. And I'm going to add the Runaway Mine Train at Alton Towers to that as well.
Ah, okay.
So
Both the powered coasters.
So two family coasters, two different styles of family coasters, even though it's the same kind of family coaster, that can offer different experiences in terms of the look.
Okay, good, uh, good picks there. Um, I completely forgot this thing was still here, so I might as well take it. Uh, I am going to take Rita just at this point. Um,
Two launch coasters.
yeah. Uh, Actually three because Revolution, or
Oh
no,
yeah,
more than
cool.
that because I got 13. Um, and then Revolution, Rita, and Stealth. So I actually already have four. Um, but different enough. And then um, there's a funny pick I want to make, but I'm gonna hold off on that. I I have been neglecting the family coasters for the most part. There's still some options here. It's not like completely doomed. Um, so let me just make sure I'm not missing anything that's like really obvious. Um, okay, I will take. Um, Actually, what year was this? Did this open? I want to make sure so that way I'm not getting something that's bad. Okay, there we go. No, it's fine. I will be taking Flight um,
No,
of the Pterosaur at Paulton's Park.
I
So
had a plan with that one. I had a clear plan with that one.
baby Nemesis Inferno. So, um, but anyways, I believe. Let me make sure. I think you have next to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I should. Yeah, you do because I have. I'll have the last pick.
Right. Well, the dinosaur area's gone out of the window.
Hmm.
I'm going to go with a family coaster first. I'm going to go with something a bit more farmyard. I'm going to go with Express at Pleasurewood Hills.
Ooh. Okay.
Again, another very underrated family coaster in terms of the way it is detailed, especially for a smaller park in this country. Um, just having a look. I don't, apart from Manjul Mayhem, which an icon, I need something a bit more family for launch coasters. So I'm going to go for Velocity at Flamingo Land as well.
Alrighty.
So I get a bit of a
That's a good
motorbike launch
pick.
coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
But
got family coaster there, and then I'm going to go with Velocity at Flamingo Land as my family thrill launch coaster with a different style seating variation.
I was thinking that would last a little bit because it kind of like just got lost in the shuffle, but guess not. Um, okay, so then let's see two. Let's see next two. I want my like meme pick, but I think it'll still be there, so I don't think I'm gonna pick it. If I somehow lose it, then oh well. Um, I will be taking the risk. As far as what's left, um, ooh, actually, I kind of there's there's options for sure. Um, I will take Mumbo Jumbo at Flamingo Land as one
That's
of
fair.
them, and then I will be taking. I guess I am getting the dinosaur area because I am getting a Velociraptor at Paulton's Park. So
Good.
there we go.
Good, good, good. I'm going to complete the racing area with more of a kids coaster. I'm going to go with Grand Prix race at Gulliver's Valley.
Oh, let me because I know there's like
There's a
Gulliver's
few
Valley. Yeah. Okay.
because I actually did that one. Um,
Okay.
I got a chance to do that one, and that was pretty fun.
Let me
Um,
bring that one up as reference up here. That is an SBF Visa race coaster like this.
yeah, so
So
that'll be my kids coaster for the racing area. Final pick. You know what? I haven't got a Woody, so I'm going to end with Blue Flyer at Pleasure Beach. I could have gone for Nickelodeon Street, but I don't think it's going to fit in the park, so I'm going to go with Blue Flyer.
Alrighty, let me pick that one up. Where do I have it? There it is. Okay. Good final picks there. My meme coaster is alive, so I'm very pleased with that.
I'm intrigued to see what this
There's
is going to
actually
be.
two. There's actually two I could go with. That actually not looking at it, but I'm gonna stick with it. I am taking uh, Tyrolean Tub Twist at Joyland Children's Fun Park. So
What was the other choice? What was it between?
I was between that and Steeple. I saw Steeplechase. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of funny, um,
Oh,
but I was like, nah, because this is basically the closest thing we have to the Virginia Real Coasters. It's a powered kids version of that. So I'm like, I have to add it to
nice.
the lineup. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, that's the perfect like last pick. Is that thing because it's so goofy. So literally had it like last on my list of draftable like coasters, but I was like I kind of want to have it. So um yeah, so that is the draft. As far as at this point, I don't know. This we will probably have to depend here more on the Instagram poll that I will do after the stream. Um, on the outcome of this one, but I will still hold a poll. Um, that's weird. You should be able to do it from StreamYard because I'm pretty sure I did it last time, but now looking at it, I don't see it anymore. Did they? I don't see why they would have gotten rid of that feature. Um, well, that's fine. If that's the case, I will still be able to put up the poll. Oh wait, no, here it is. There we go. Okay, so yes, you can. So, uh, who has the better coaster lineup? And then we'll do. Actually, I don't know if I've done this because there's a way you can do it through StreamYard. I don't know how if it'll actually work, so I guess we'll find out real quick.
Mm.
Um, but poll should be up. Let's see. I'm gonna actually look on YouTube real quick to actually see if it worked because I'm not exactly as I not in, I actually don't think I did this last time. I think I knew it was a feature, but yeah, I don't see a poll here. I don't think it worked. So um, I will just do it on here on my end on YouTube. And hopefully that should be able to get it to work out because yeah, it did not show up on here. So apologies there. But I will mention as I am doing that, any thoughts on the draft and then also any questions you have, we'll have an abbreviated Q&A. Um, let's see. Probably will be taking in questions. That come in like the next 10 minutes probably. So I would get those questions in as I am trying to uh, get the poll up here. So make sure to do that. We'll also mention, do not want to share the screen in that way. We'll also mention that since the last time I did a stream, I was fortunately able to get out to Atlanta. I revisited Six Flags Over Georgia. But of course, I went out there to ride Air Force One. So any questions related to that, I will be happy to answer. Or, of course, anything in general for either of us. But we'll just kind of mention that as we are doing that. Then, yeah, I will put up the poll. So, all right. All right, so poll is up. Make sure to vote on that. Neither of us can, obviously, because we actually participated in it. But we'll see how that goes, and then we'll go from there. So, let's see. Um, but yeah, like I said, any questions as well? Let us know in the chat. I did see Civilian Satellite earlier did mention um, that they are gonna head that they yeah you I did miss the heading out, so my apologies there, Vince, if you are checking this out later. But I appreciate the thanks on securing that Air Force One ride. I that was like my top bucket list coaster here in the U.S. that I had not ridden, so I was like, I kind of have to get on it while I can. So
Mm.
did make it out to it, fortunately. Hopefully, it gets relocated. We will see, but yeah, that would
I
be
think it's likely.
ideal.
Me personally, I think it's likely. Um, I'd, I'd love to see it come to Europe, but I think it's most likely going to stay in the States.
That would not be a popular opinion amongst my following. I will definitely say that. But if it survives any which way, I will be happy. So
It's better than nothing. It's better than getting scrapped.
exactly. Like I did see some people saying they'd rather. I forget what it was. I think someone brought up somewhere that like it's gonna get relocated to like a Wonderla park or Vietnam or something. And they're like, at that point, just scrap it. I'm like, what do you mean? I'd rather it still be around than scrap it. I'm like, I would rather it go there than be scrapped. I'm like,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
so absolutely, that is what I will be hoping for on that.
It's been
So
it's been a pretty sad year for coasters closing. Because obviously you've got Cumber, you've got Air Force One, you've got um, a few others as well.
I do see here. Wow, I do not know why this thing is being so strange because it's not even showing me the number of votes. Oh wait, no, now it is. Okay, so if you haven't voted yet, make sure to, um, because it does show we have a few viewers here, so should theoretically then, by that logic, have a few more votes than we have. If not, we'll just go off of what is it, Instagram and call it. So uh, because what is it? Right now, I only see a singular vote on here, and it's towards myself, and I don't really want to use that to determine the winner. So we'll probably say we'll save it for Instagram for that one. So make sure to follow so you know the winner there, and I'll also give an update during the next stream on that. So we will probably wrap the draft up there. Um, and then, yeah, so like I said, if there's any final questions, let us know. If not, then this will pretty much wrap up here. So,
I'm pretty happy with that draft list because I've got a nice range there. I managed to get the Woody in there finally. I didn't want to choose Big Dipper after what happened, obviously in real life yesterday.
oh, right. Yeah, I didn't even. I didn't even take that into account. But
Well, if I'm being perfectly honest with that whole situation, I've refused to do any kind of coverage on it or any kind of content on it. All I've chosen to do is to quote the Pleasure Beach statement, and then at the bottom just say we need to let the park do its thorough investigation, and we send our thoughts out to the riders involved and to the park. That's all I've said. Because there's no point saying anything more. There's no point speculating on what is, something that's gone horribly wrong. We're just glad that everyone's okay or seemingly okay. There's not been any reported injuries. In fact, there was a clip of just after it happened
yeah,
where someone shouted, "We're all right" or "We're good." So, if anything, that I'm just glad that people are okay. Obviously, the ride is SBNO until further notice. Obviously, we'll know more once the park officially puts out more information. But for now, at least, we're just keeping quiet.
yeah. As you said, we'll find out more once the investigation yields those results, and the park wants to share that. But
It
obviously,
is sad though. It is sad though
yeah,
because it
no,
is over 100.
absolutely,
It's an over
yeah,
100-year-old roller coaster. So it's really sad. But like I said, hopefully the
absolutely,
park just carries on with the investigation, and we'll just see what happens. There's no point speculating.
yeah. No, that's completely fair. Uh, so But yeah, good point. I like I said, I wasn't even taking that into consideration when drafting, but yeah, I that does make sense to consider for sure. Absolutely. Um, let's see. So I will take this off here. It does look like chat is pretty much good. I also know the like weird timing of a stream can also affect things, so I think that also had an effect. But I think we are pretty much wrapped up here then. So, Aaron, if you have any last things you want to mention before we head out, now is the time to.
Yeah, just anyone who watches this after we've been live, make sure you go into the description, vote for us in the UK Theme Park Awards. Like I said, voting closes on the 28th of August, so plenty of time to get it in. Um, yeah, this has been great. Honestly, I think the last stream I did on here was a few years ago now, so it was quite near towards the start of my journey. And now we're 8 years deep into the journey. It's obviously a lot's happened between then and now. Um, but now I'm looking forward to the future. Obviously, with all the exciting projects coming up, both personally and obviously in the industry as a whole, especially with the UK and Europe. But it's going to be a very exciting few years coming up, and I'm looking forward to what's on the horizon. Really.
For sure. And I mean, I wish the best for you. You mentioned the last time we did a stream. I think it was actually a really long while ago, if I recall. I think I was looking at it the other day. It might have been 2021,
Wow.
which is just like insane. Whenever I bring back guests, sometimes it's like, wow, it has. Yeah, I found it August 6th, 2021. You have been
Wow.
on here a few times. I think since with the viewer call-ins, I think I uh, years ago maybe went on yours for one, but it would have been a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, but it is kind of crazy to look back. That is, we're coming up on 5 years on that, which is wow, how time flies.
Mm.
Um, and yet the Coaster Time series still lives on. Um, but as Aaron said, make sure to check out his socials in the description. All the link tree is there for that, along with the UK Theme Park Awards link. So if you want to vote there, absolutely make sure to do that. Went over at the beginning of the stream as well, like how that works as well, if you want to rewatch that. But for those of you either watching live or afterwards, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time here on Coaster Hour. See you all.